The Allstate 400 at the Brickyard is brought to you by Allstate. Are you in good hands? And by Home Depot, NASCAR's home improvement warehouse. The engines fire in just a few minutes here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Allstate 400 at the Brickyard. So let's head inside the Pagoda, one of the many Speedway landmarks, and up to the broadcast booth. And the gentleman who lead our call of the race, Dr. Jerry Punch.
Thanks, Alan. Nice job down there, guys. Folks, the names of the drivers who have won this race read like a who's who in NASCAR. In fact, 12 of the 14 previous races here have been won by drivers who also carry the title of NASCAR Sprint Cup champion. To put it simple, simply the best win at Indianapolis. Hello, everyone. Along with former NASCAR champions Dale Jarrett and Andy Petrie, I'm Jerry Punch. Glad to have you with us. And, guys, as former champions, you guys enjoyed very successful careers. In fact, you both won this race, the Brickyard 400. But share with us the emotion, the meaning of winning here at Indy.
Jerry, this is the biggest race of my professional career as a crew chief. Coming here in 1995 and win the race with Dale Earnhardt and helping him achieve something that he had never done before. He'd never won a race as big as this. And a lot of things he did that were great, but this was a good thing that I did with him, and it was such a big part of my career, and now that he's gone, it makes it even more special.
Yeah. The word that comes to me, wow. Going to victory lane, enjoying the spoils of victory there of a place that I'd seen many champions enjoy. Then walking out, starting a tradition with my crew chief, Todd Parrott, in 1996 of kissing the bricks and then getting on the back of that convertible with my wife, Kelly, and Todd Parrott and riding around this racetrack. Just incredible. Gives me chills right now just talking about it.
Guys, down on the starting grid, the pulse is quickening. It is very congested. We are just moments away from the start. What are these crews and drivers thinking about right now?
These drivers, they're very anxious right now for a number of reasons. This is a huge race for them. They know that only one time a year do they have a chance to win this race. When they drop the green flag, they have to funnel down into what looks like a very tight turn one. There's only one groove down there, and they want to get single file. They don't want to take their chances away in that first corner. They want to get single file. So they're very anxious at this moment.
And for a crew member, a crew chief, this is a track where they line the cars up on the racetrack, and all the people and everything down there is such an electric atmosphere. When they start these engines in a minute or two, it makes the hair stand up on the back of my neck. This is very, very exciting.
So much pressure. They are surrounded by a tidal wave of humanity. Over 250,000 diehard fans have assembled here to watch the Allstate 400 at the Brickyard. With 6 first-time starters in the field, some of these drivers have waited a lifetime for this opportunity to compete at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And now it is time for us to go trackside for the command.
And now to say the most famous words in motorsports, ladies and gentlemen, the chairperson of the board of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Mary Hallman George.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Crank them up, gang, crank them up. Go ahead, fire it up. Fire it up. Fire it up. All right, start your engine here. Crank it up, crank it up. Go ahead and get it on. All right, buddy, I got you. Let's do it. There you go. We got a plan. Good to go.
Engines have fired, and 43 of the world's greatest stock car drivers are poised and ready to compete for 400 miles. When we return, we'll visit with our in-race reporter, the driver of the Home Depot Toyota. Yes, he's a 2-time winner here. He won this one a year ago. He won it in 2005. What a special memory for a native Hoosier. We'll speak with Tony Stewart when we come back in just a moment. Welcome back to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where the field is just about set to roll. Drivers have often said that racing in front of such of a massive crowd is both exhilarating and intimidating. But have you ever wondered how much of this crowd they can actually see and hear from within the car? Our Shannon Spake can elaborate.
Well, that's right, Doc. One of the most unique parts about this track is the fact that the fans are so close to the racetrack. As the drivers come off of turn 4, they are swallowed by the canyon of fans. grandstands on both sides of the front stretch. Drivers actually say the front stretch seems much more narrow than the back stretch because of that. They said you can even hear the fans cheering inside your headsets. Now, as the drivers make their way around turns 1 and 2, fans still very close to the track. In fact, in 2005, when Tony Stewart won his first Brickyard here, he said he actually looked into the stands where he saw his father cheering him to the win. It is the one dynamic, the fan dynamic, that makes this place so special. Doc?
Tony Stewart, a two-time winner. He won this race a year ago. How special would it be for him to get win number 3 here today? Let's visit with him. He's our in-race reporter starting back in 14th today.
Tony Stewart, Dale Jarrett, ESPN. You have a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Smoke, it's been a big week for you already with the announcement of your sponsor in number 14 for next year. And your hero, A.J. Foyt, drove that number 14 to victory here 4 times. Is that motivation for you to get win number 3 here today?
I hope so. We're excited about it. Obviously, we all got some challenges that I don't think any of us anticipated going into this week, but I think NASCAR and everybody's doing the smart thing here. We just got to take care of our car here today. I think this is a race where may not necessarily be the fastest car that wins, but it's the guy that's smartest all day and there at the end taking care of his equipment. So try to be smart here all day.
Hey, Tony, our next question comes from our ESPN mailbag, and one of your fans, Aaron in Columbia, South Carolina, wants to know, how does driving the COT car at the Brickyard differ from the other cars you have driven at this track?
Well, the center of gravity is so much higher that, you know, we don't have the level platform that you and I've always been used to with the old cars. It just rolls over on the right side. It's a lot worse, and it just seems to be a lot harder on the right side tires. Makes you have to really be careful with it to take care of it all day long. So just doesn't quite handle as good, but these cars weren't designed to handle as good as the old ones.
All right, Tony, thanks a lot. Thanks for being our in-race reporter, and we'll talk to you later on. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir.
Crew Chief Greg Zipadelli led Tony to both wins here and to 2 Sprint Cup titles. Let's visit with Greg.
Hey, Greg, it's Andy Petrie up here in the booth. You got us? Hey, Zippy, I wouldn't want to be sitting on that box today. You got a lot of concerns with these tires. How are you going to go about it? How are you going to attack this race?
We're going to be smart, like Tony said. We're going to try and be the car that's there at the end. Do the best we can as far as getting a balance with our race car. So when it comes time to leaning on it, we're using both of them rather than one side or the other. So we didn't have the fastest car yesterday, but we did have decent tire wear, and he was comfortable with it. So we'll keep our fingers crossed, and hopefully good Lord's with us today.
Thanks, Greg, for talking to us. You guys have a good race.
Well, you can almost feel the stress through his voice down there thinking about what could happen today. Now, for more on just how special this day might be for some other key players, let's head down to the pits first. Here's Jamie Little.
Well, Doc, owner Chip Ganassi is looking to become the first owner to ever win the Indianapolis 500 and the All-State 400 here in Indianapolis. Now, he could have a leg up on the competition. Back in 2000, he won the 500 with Juan Pablo Montoya, who's in the field. He also won it 2 months ago with Scott Dixon. But he himself has also raced an IndyCar here 5 different times with the best finish of 8th in 1983. Now, he just reminded me what a big deal it would be to win here today. They won the IndyCar race last night with Scott Dixon. He hopes to complete that sweep today with either Juan Pablo Montoya or Reed Sorensen. Mike Massaro?
Thanks, Jamie. In the rich history of Indianapolis Motor Speedway, no car owner has been more successful than Roger Penske. From Mark Donohue in 1972 to Sam Hornish in 2006, Penske has captured 14 Indy 500 wins. A stock car win, however, has been elusive here at the Brickyard. Today, Hornish is one of 3 Penske drivers trying to help Penske fill that void. The other 2, Kurt Busch and Ryan Newman, who you'll remember back in February helped team up to give Penske his biggest NASCAR win. Busch gave drafting help to Ryan Newman, pushing him to a Daytona 500 victory. Can Penske win NASCAR's 2 biggest crown jewels in the same season? We'll find out in 160 laps. Dave?
Mike, on-track victory celebrations take a lot of different forms. Smoky burnouts, backflips, guys climbing fences. but there's only one place where they kiss the bricks. That is right here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And you know, when it was started by Dale Jarrett's team, the fact that they did it only because the bricks are here is not the only reason why it stayed and why it doesn't leave here. It's because it is right. This is a place that everyone in the world knows about racing, and so it's a tradition that stays here, and everyone that's won since has copied that little move. Now, this place isn't paved fully with bricks anymore, but it's been pretty abrasive on the tires, as we've noted. And one guy who's going to be really busy today is our DJ Kopp, who'll be changing lots of tires.
Changing them tires, one of the more exciting places will be behind the wall. All these guys running back and forth, Goodyear, grabbing all these tires. It's going to be an exciting day back here. And Doc, with all that tire changing I got going on today, I got to get going with that competition caution coming on at lap 10.
Thank you, DJ. Competition yellow at lap number 10. In sports, there are but a few rare venues where success can change your life forever. At Wimbledon, at Augusta, and here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, if you win, your name will be placed among the legends that have gone before. But it won't be easy. It never is. There are major concerns about tire wear here today. How far will they go? And how much risk can they afford to take? Some drivers have said if there's one place you risk it, it's here. At Indianapolis, you risk it all to win. Let's listen in to the pole sitter Jimmy Johnson's radio.
Yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you for everything. You guys have been doing an awesome job working your tails off. It's certainly been showing. I can't thank you enough. Just go out and be smart today. I mean, we've had a great couple days. That doesn't mean anything. We got 400 miles to put in here today, and let's just go do our deal.
What a great leader. What a great coach. He is a defending and two-time champion. He won this race in 2006 and then went on to become a NASCAR champion. How special would it be for this young driver, Dale Earnhardt Jr., to become just a second father-son team to win at the famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway? But the concerns continue. You can hear it in Tony Stewart's voice, and the big question marks there are tires.
The fuel tanks will take them about 30, 35 laps, but these tires are such an unknown. These guys have no idea how far they'll go later in this race. NASCAR is going to give them a competition yellow at lap 10 and probably another one after another 10 or 12.
Lots of unknowns, lots of question marks, so many great stories. This place has been called the world's greatest race course, and when you gaze across this mass of humanity, the numbers some 250,000 strong, who can argue? 43 hopefuls, 400 miles, but only one will kiss the bricks when the day is done. And everyone here is asking the same question you're asking at home. Who will it be? Who will be the one that realizes a dream by winning at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway? We invite you to sit back and enjoy, and we will find out together who that one will be. 2 by 2 out of turn 4. Jimmy Johnson and the sentimental favorite Mark Martin side by side coming down as the green flag waves here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Essentially single file as best they can out of turn 1, but here's where the passings will begin. They should begin to spread out coming out of 2. Here they come.
You called it, Dale. You said off of turn 2 they would fan out 3 wide, and here they go. Yeah, it didn't take long, and a great shot that we had going into turn 1 was that there's not a lot of rubber outside that one groove that these guys had, so they wanted to get single file as quickly as possible.
How hard are they going to race right here, racing to lap 10?
You like to think that they're going to kind of take it easy, everybody knowing that there's going to be a caution there, but you still want to race hard. You don't want to give up positions. That's what your job is. You're a race driver. You're a competitor.
In the final practice session yesterday, they ran 8, 9, 10, 11 laps, seeing how far the tires would go. Jeff Gordon has already made a move.
I think, Jeff, they've stated all week they're very happy with their race car, and it's not going to take him long to get to the front. But this is one of the smartest race drivers out there. He knows that right now it doesn't mean a whole lot. He's got himself.
Whoa, got trouble. These guys 4 wide off of turn 4.
Yeah, and that's exactly where it happens. A lot of times as you get bunched up, somebody gets out of the gas, doesn't get the run off the corner, and then things just start fanning out. Everybody's in the gas hard.
Near disaster for Carl Edwards and Dale Earnhardt Jr. They fall back in line, one in front of Juan Pablo Montoya and one behind him.
Kept talking about how narrow that front straightaway was.
Yeah.
Guys are 4 wide.
Yeah, and you were wanting to know how hard are they going to race right now? That shows it right there. Every lap means something. Every corner means something to these guys.
Movement in the back of the pack going by Reed Sorensen. Robbie Gordon in the 7 car going by. 70 car, that is Jason Leffler. One of the double-duty drivers who also ran at Indianapolis Raceway Park and the NASCAR Nationwide event last night. Jimmy Johnson, the leader. 5 car lengths back to Mark Martin in second spot, but Mark Martin under a bit of attack from the 24 car of Jeff Gordon.
I got to think Mark Martin's racing smart right here. He knows they're going to go to lap 10. He lets Jeff Gordon go, getting in the corner. That was a real smart heads-up move.
Mike?
Well, Doc, you know, when NASCAR did not schedule a mandatory test here at Indianapolis, there were a lot of crew chiefs who were scratching their head trying to figure out how to prepare for this very challenging race. Well, not Jeff Gordon's crew chief, Steve Letarte. I spoke with him this morning, and he said, despite the fact that they're having a frustrating season, he was happy that they did not schedule a test. He felt like because he had a driver who has 14 years experience here and 4 wins under his belt, he has an advantage. And Jeff says the same thing. He said it doesn't matter what kind of year he's having, no matter what it is, when he comes here to Indianapolis, he feels like he can be competitive. He certainly is so far.
Showed you Carl Edwards avoiding disaster a moment ago. Whoa, trouble, 55. Michael Waltrip smacks the wall hard. Debris coming off the car. A couple of cars going around him. That's Terry Labonte just able to get by.
Yeah, Paul Menard got a piece of that also.
And just that quickly, lap number 4, we are under yellow here at Indianapolis.
Heavy damage back in front, Bobby. We're rolling.
That's certainly not the way Michael Waltrip wanted his Brickyard 400 to go here. And it's been a difficult year, but he's got a lot of damage there that's going to take extensive time to repair that. You see the cars in turn 2.
It looks like Michael just lost the car.
Got loose on the inside of Sam Hornish there. Looks like he's going to be okay there maybe. He's spinning down to the inside, but the 15 had nowhere to go.
Like I say, I think Paul Menard got some damage out of that because he hit Michael pretty hard. Sam Hornish very lucky there. He just, as Michael got sideways, he almost slid right up into Sam.
And that's one of the things you face here as you're racing with other cars is as you enter these corners, your car tends to really get loose. And that seems like what happened to Michael. He lost some air there, and the car just got away from him. Again, looked like he was just going to spin to the inside, but Paul Menard had nowhere to go but to hit him.
Yeah, the leaders will probably be waiting on that lap 10 caution. It's only to run 5 laps.
Caution number 1 here, lap number 4, Paul Menard's Chevrolet on pit road to get that right front fender peeled away and get some repairs made. Welcome back to the Allstate 400 at the Brickyard. NASCAR Sprint Cup action. We are under yellow for the first time today, and it came very early on. To no one's surprise, lap 4. Thought there may be some tire issues. Actually, there was a car spinning. It was Michael Waltrip in the car number 55. Had issues, and 2 cars involved, he and Paul Menard, who has since been on pit road. There's Paul Menard's Chevrolet getting some repairs to the chassis in the right front. Here's what happened to Michael Waltrip.
Looks like he said Sam was just too close to the door, right on the door, Michael, and his car was probably real loose, starting this race out. Just got out from under him here, and then Paul gets a big piece of it.
And these cars are even more sensitive when a car's right on the right rear quarter panel of them. It really takes your feel away of the race car, and that's easy for it to happen here.
We showed you a scary moment on lap 2. Watch Carl Edwards peel out behind Kurt Busch, and right behind him is the 88 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Dave.
And here's what Carl had to say on the radio just after that.
I had no clue that 88 was there. Yeah, he lifted. You went behind the trees. It's hard to tell, buddy. You got to use your mirrors. We don't have a lot of... 10-4. 10-4. Tell him I'm sorry. My fault. Didn't know he was there.
So the big concerns when they started this race, guys, obviously with the tires, but you want nothing to happen in these few laps before they get to that first mandatory caution. Almost did there for Carl and the 88.
Thanks, Dave. And DJ, what about the fact that this is the first time that they've run this new car here? How much visibility loss do you have with that rear wing there in the back of the car?
Yeah, it does take some of the vision away of what you have and seeing the cars behind you and in particular spots. And the other side of it is, as you heard Carl Spotter tell him, it's hard for them to see. This is a huge racetrack, and they can't see everything going on. So the driver has a big responsibility of keeping up with who's around him.
Not as if you had enough troubles at all to be able to have to turn left here at 200 miles an hour, 4 times a lap. You got to be able to look around and may not be able to count on your spotter as much to help you.
Okay, NASCAR's just changed this competition yellow to lap 14. They're going to open up pit road this time. We'll probably see some guys come in and get tires, use up a set right here, and then go maybe 10 more laps before they have the next competition yellow.
Again, the reason for the competition yellow, the abrasiveness of the racetrack was just eroding away the Goodyear tires in practice yesterday.
Okay, this is going to mix it up right here. You see a lot of the leaders stayed out. Some of these other guys coming in. I guess the thinking here is the leaders want to save a set of tires in case this wear doesn't get any better.
That's the thing, is they didn't have a lot of tires to start this as far as looking at the number of laps they've been able to run. So a lot of different strategies here. This could get really interesting.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. down pit road at 55 miles an hour.
See just how narrow this pit road is. We've talked about how difficult it can be, especially when you get all the cars on pit road as Dale Jr. Comes to a stop. Dave?
Dale Earnhardt Jr., they will change 4 tires on this race car right now, and they just wanted to get a close look at it, make sure that there wasn't any damage from the contact there with Carl Edwards, and they will send it back out. Take a quick look at those tires when they come off, guys.
Yeah, the car looks good, Dave. The right front corner looks good. I saw that little dent that Carl had in his left rear. I kind of wondered if Junior had some damage from that, but he looks good.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., by the way, was one of the 3 drivers that actually did the tire test here back in April, so he wanted to come in and be among the first to take a look at the tires that were coming off the car. Back in a moment. Let's take a look at our AT&T Crew Chief Challenge. Which driver currently not in the chase has the best chance to make it in this year? Would it be A, Clint Boyer, B, Brian Vickers, C, David Reagan, or D, Ryan Newman? Now to play, you simply text the word crew to 191 on your AT&T wireless phone and send in your answer. The results will be shown later in the race. Standard text rates will apply. Let's go down to Dave.
With Tony Eury Jr. now, crew chief for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Did you stop just to get an early look at the tires, Tony, or something else?
We're just going to play a little strategy here. I mean, I kind of was planning on pitting on lap 7 anyway. Kind of beat it because it's like Pocono. You can pit a little early and not take advantage of the distance around the track. So we're just we figured our cars are pretty good, but clean air means so much. So we're going to stay out of the next caution, see what happens.
Okay, and the idea, obviously, guys, is when everyone else pits for the competition caution, they don't have to.
Yeah, Dave, that's okay if we know when the next one's going to come out. That's kind of a little bit of a gamble because they don't know for sure when NASCAR's going to throw the next caution, and they might be caught out there with too many laps on the tire.
Yeah, just a gamble, just like these guys in the front staying out there. I was a little surprised with Jimmy Johnson, to be quite honest. I thought they might come down and kind of force everyone's hands to come in with them.
Yeah, we know that NASCAR's going to throw a caution at lap 14. The caution that I'm talking about is the next one after that. If these guys stay out, if Junior stays out, he might have too many laps on his tires by the next caution.
14 cars actually came on the pit road there on that yellow. The others opting to stay on the racetrack until the competition caution. Jimmy Johnson has led every lap thus far and will lead them back to the green flag. They're sliding too wide. Coming down the straightaway, Clint Boyer in the 07 on the inside of Casey Mears.
A struggle for Clint Boyer so far this weekend. He just really didn't get up to speed in practice and didn't have a good qualifying effort yesterday. I know they worked extremely hard in practice to get their car better, and hopefully they've done that.
Not just practice. I was in their garage stall early this morning, and they had that car tore apart, changing everything on it. And Gil Martin said they thought they were going to be pretty good, but they really don't know till they get out here and run. Shannon?
Yeah, right now the car is pretty good for Clint Boyer, and, you know, I spoke with Gil Martin. He said the same thing to me, and he said it was very confusing because these flat tracks are usually Clint Boyer's bread and butter, but he had no problem with them starting in the back. He said Clint is very patient, and he knows
Some of those drivers too wide in the back of the pack are the ones that have already been on and off pit road. The short chute, by the way, that is the quarter of a mile connection between turns 1 and 2. And Clint Boyer, as you mentioned, had his hands full throughout the session yesterday. Here's Carl Edwards now making a dive and taking a position away.
We heard Tony Uri Jr. talking about strategy. You can pit at this racetrack and get right sides anyway. You can get 4 tires if you're up front enough and not lose a lap. They know that caution's coming out on lap 14. Some of these guys might pit a lap or two short of that and get the tires and get back out on the racetrack and then stay out when the caution comes out and get track position.
DJ, Carl Edwards is being very, very aggressive. Is he trying to find out how hard he can push these tires? Are they trying to learn something?
That'd probably be a good thing to do right now. They know they're coming in a few laps, and this will give them an opportunity to see just how much pressure they can put on those tires. Carl likes to drive a car sideways anyway. He's been very confident all week about his car, so I think he's running extremely hard for a couple of reasons, to pick up in the spots that he can, but to really give his crew an idea of what these tires are going to take.
Here's what Carl Edwards said when we asked him about the tire situation here today.
I feel like as long as the tire doesn't blow out, and it's not there's no safety concern, I personally don't care what the tires are like. I don't care if they're hard to drive or they're slippery or whatever. I think as long as it's the same for everyone, it's fine.
I just wonder if he's going to have the same opinion if you have to pit every 10 laps.
Yeah, that or his right front blows out or something like that. He's probably not going to be as happy about it. But, yeah, he's exactly right. As long as they're the same for everybody, hey, everybody's got the same challenge then.
Yeah, we've run 13 laps, and I'm looking at the lap times. Jimmy Johnson's still running extremely fast lap times compared to yesterday's practice. So he's pushing his car pretty hard right here to see just how much those tires will take.
Competition yellow should be coming next lap around. 44 car, we understand, had bounced it off the wall. David Rudeman and his Toyota. Not been a good start thus far for the Michael Waltrip Racing Group. There.
Yeah, just a little bit of a slide out there, and that's what you face. They haven't moved the walls in. You just run out of racetrack with the tire and the car combination.
He could be running out of right rear tire. These tires could be getting right down to the cord. That could have caused this problem. And you see he's slipping back another spot, losing one to Dale Jr., who's got fresh tires.
That moves Dale Jr. into 29th position. Again, the 14 cars stopped or at the back of the pack on the restart. And the others will be coming in here next lap around.
And they said lap 14. They didn't say where they would be on the track on lap 14.
Oh, trouble. Kevin Harvick has hit it hard.
Yeah, that looks like it could have been a problem with the tire.
And also the 2-car of Kurt Busch involved. 2 contenders. Hard impacts into the concrete.
Yeah, that's some hard wrecks right there, both of those guys.
Yeah, this obviously taking both of their chances away, but it'll be interesting to see.
In the garage. Go to the garage, Eric.
If this was a mistake or just racing, or did we have a tire issue there, because there was a big chance. Jamie?
It's a garage, and you can get there.
You hear Kevin Harvick talking to his crew. He said that was a blown right front. He said the steering wheel is all the way around in a circle, guys. Tough day for Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, Jamie, he did hit that wall very hard. He was coming off the corner. Actually, it looks like Kurt Busch lost the car and then hit the right front of Kevin's car, maybe blowing that tire out, but they both hit the wall pretty hard.
Yeah, they did. So this wasn't a tire issue right there, other than maybe the right rear just being worn on Kurt Busch's car, and that creating the problem.
Right along with Kevin Harvick's onboard camera, so you watch the 2-car get out of shape.
Outside. We got fire there.
That car, Kurt Busch, did turn sideways real quick on him, like this is an unexpected thing.
Yeah, and talking to these drivers about how long did it take you to figure out you had a problem, they said it just happens all of a sudden. You're going along fine, and then the next thing you know, you're losing grip with either the rear end or the front end, whichever tire is going. And that looks like that could have been the case there. And unfortunately for Kevin Harvick, just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
He's just a victim in this one.
Delana Harvick, his wife, got to be a helpless feeling standing there knowing that he hit very, very hard. You see the car trying to get down pit road. They want to make repairs and try to get him back out. All these valuable points, losing here with this kind of impact early on in a race at Indianapolis.
Yeah, we know these leaders are coming down pit road this time, the ones that did not pit last time. But after seeing some of this, I wonder if some of the guys that pitted on lap 5 or 6 are going to come back again.
It's going to be a huge chance because they don't know when that next caution is coming, Andy, just like you said. And that's going to be a huge gamble that they're going to take early in this race, knowing that they still don't have this problem solved at this point in time.
Yellow flag is officially out, and this is the first competition yellow, and it doesn't really help Kevin Harvick much. Of course, this wasn't a tire issue on his own. He came in 9th in the point standings. Remember, we are 7 races away from the chase. Got to look at the big picture if you're Kevin Harvick now when you're looking at how damaged that car is.
Yeah, it's going to make an uphill battle for him. But the other side of it is you have one shot a year to win this race. And for someone that's won it, you want that shot again as these guys come on pit road now.
Jimmy Johnson will lead the parade down. There'll be a lot of engineers looking at tires, the Goodyear folks, the NASCAR folks, the crew chiefs.
Well, Junior looks pretty lonely out there on that straightaway. All these leaders coming in, and Junior stayed out.
Let's go down to Dave.
And Jeff Gordon on pit road. He came in today extremely optimistic. He has a very good race car, and despite all the concern about tires, they go with right sides only.
Trying him in the 12 car as well, taking right sides only. Crew Chief Roy McCauley telling him the 2 car was not a blown tire. He's down and away.
Right sides only for Jimmy Johnson, the leader. He will get off of pit road first. He said 2 things. I've been leaning on the car, and it will turn, and I haven't felt anything funny tire-wise. We'll take a look at him.
Opting for right side tires only. There was the race off of pit road. Mark Martin losing 3 spots. Casey Kane and Carl Edwards both gaining. David Reagan up 3. As we are with the competition yellow, second caution flag today. This one involving contact between Kevin Harvick and Kurt Busch.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the new leader of the All-State 400 at the Brickyard. As we welcome you back to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the beginning of our coverage of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series on ESPN. Next Sunday, it's off to Pocono, another giant 2.5-mile track. Only 3 corners at that one. Very interesting place if you've never seen a race from Pocono. 1 p.m. Eastern Time, our coverage presented by Cheez-It. Casey Kane won a race there about 5 weeks ago. A lot of strategy being played here. Dave Burns.
And Chad Knaus had the crew put on 2 fresh right side tires. How did the ones that came off of the 48 car, Chad, look?
Not too bad. You know, we didn't run enough laps consecutively to see a lot of tire wear at this point, but we did see a little bit of cording on the right rear in that short amount of laps. But I think that it's going to get a little bit better, but it's definitely going to take a little bit. You know, we're fortunate the Lowe Chevrolet is running very, very fast, and you know, we got a pretty good driver behind the wheel trying to save his stuff.
They had a good assessment. The driver did say that he had leaned on the car a bit, so they got a good look at him with hard driving. Doc.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jason Leffler stayed out as they come down for the green flag. Andy, good call, bad call?
Well, we'll find out. The only thing that's going to make this a good call is if he doesn't have a tire problem and we get another caution, he can just gain some track position by this, but it's very risky.
Jeff Burton, the 31 car, 3rd in the points, moving to the inside to try to take advantage of the restart and try to make a couple of passes.
And Junior doesn't have any problems here. These other guys just got 2 tires, so even though he has some laps on his tires, he might be okay if he doesn't have a problem.
Jimmy Johnson, here's Jeff Gordon, his teammate looking to the inside of Jimmy Johnson as they head in the turn.
That's what happens. These cars make such a big hole in the air. You get that momentum, and you might not be the guy making the original pass. You better be careful and protect that inside because you could be in the middle of a 3-wide situation.
Even though this is a downforce racetrack, that draft still comes into play, especially at the end of the straightaways, these long straightaways.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. has pulled away by about 10 car lengths. Side by side, Juan Pablo Montoya and the 70 car of Jason Leffler.
Jason was the other car that stayed out under that caution. Yeah, he's falling back.
You could see him kind of tiptoe through turn 1 up on the outside there because they just don't have any rubber down in that groove in particular yet.
Lap 32 will be the next competition yellow.
Wow, 32. That's going to be a little while from now.
Obviously, NASCAR has gotten input from some of the crew chiefs. You heard Chad Knaus and others say we're looking pretty good. We're feeling better, a little more comfortable about how far we can go.
Well, everybody's feeling pretty good except maybe Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Tony Eury Jr. because they're going to have to go a good little ways on their right sides.
Again, they pitted on lap 7. Everyone else coming in on lap 14. Earnhardt Jr., though, holding his own, stabilizing for a moment, but they are mixing it up back in the pack. Here's Martin Truex making a move. There's the 9 car and the 12 car, Casey Kane and Ryan Newman, a pair of Dodges. That's 5th and 6th.
Carl Edwards gave up 3 spots right there. I just wonder if he's maybe cooling it waiting on this next caution flag.
It's interesting. We're seeing different drivers play a little bit different strategy. Guys we think might be aggressive or backing out a little bit. A guy like Mark Martin, who we expected to be pretty conservative this time, trying to make his way up towards the front. He's said all weekend he has the car to win this race.
He has an excellent race car, and he wants to make sure he has it at the end of the race. I guarantee you he's not running 100% right now.
Yeah, this is not Mark Martin's first rodeo. He's seen this before. He's been around when there have been tire issues or concerns. Said, why run the car? No, they're not going to pay me anything for lap 21. Again, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th on your screen. Kane, Newman, Martin, and Edwards.
The one thing you don't, here goes Carl Edwards inside of Mark Martin. The one thing you don't, and see Mark just gives it to him as they go in the corner.
Yeah, it looked like Mark might have got down on those concrete ripple strips that are at the very inside of those corners, and when you do that, it upsets the car, and Mark couldn't get back to the gas, and Carl had a run on him, and Mark just let him go then.
One thing you don't want to do is give up too much track position here, because it can take a long time to gain it back. I know Mark wants to be conservative, but he doesn't need to give up too much track position.
You see Ryan Newman trying to go around Casey Kane here. He got a good run through the center of the corner. Casey gave him just enough of room to get the nose of that 12 car under him, but he's still trying to make the pass as they come off of turn 4 and down the straightaway.
Ryan Newman, of course, leaving Penske Racing at the end of the year, but how much would he like to be able to be the first one to give Roger Penske a stock car win at this facility? Let's listen into the 9 radio. Casey Kane as he's under attack from Carl Edwards.
I was talking to Meesters. Sounds like there's a cracked header or a pipe or something, Casey. We could hear it in here, too.
Yeah. Will that mean it'll get worse or lose power or what?
It's hard to say. It might be fine. I just hope it doesn't burn something up. You know, the exhaust gas is getting on something that they don't need to be getting on is what I'd be most afraid of. Yeah, what's happening there is it's getting air in the exhaust, you know, and then any unburned fuel in there is igniting again. That's why it sounds that way.
Got a cracked exhaust pipe, and that makes the car sound funny. And, you know, one thing, it does hurt the power if it gets bad, but it makes it just sound funny for a while, and the car will still run fine. Can you help us a little bit on this, Brewer, and show us what's going on?
Yes, sir, Andy. Look right here, folks. If this header's cracked up in this area, what they're referring to, if the fire's coming out of here, if it melts that spark plug wire, that's going to make that cylinder inoperable. But if it's cracked back down this area right here, like they said, it's going to affect the horsepower just a little bit, but it shouldn't be no big deal unless it burns that plug wire. Andy?
Yeah, Tim, that's what Kenny Francis, the crew chief, was talking about. It's no big deal unless it burns something important, and that plug wire is plenty important.
Lap 23, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Rusty Wallace, stabilizing up front here for a moment.
I tell you what, that was a good call for track position for Dale Earnhardt Jr. I'm really happy with what he's done here. I've been looking at the lap times, and actually Junior's out running Jeff Gordon. If you remember, Jeff Gordon's got right side tires only, and Junior pitted, you know, he pitted lap 7, I believe it was, for 4 tires, and right now it's paying off for him, guys.
Rusty, you're exactly right. Talked to Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the garage yesterday. He said, you know, we were so close a year ago. He was 5th with 25 laps to go when the pulley came off. But quickly, one of the engineers leaned his head from under the hood and said, but that wasn't us. That was a different team. I said, you're going to be good on Sunday. Jeff Gordon, the 4-time winner, pedaling as hard as he can pedal to get there to make it win at number 5. But boy, does Dale Earnhardt Jr. want to win this one. His dad won in 1995. He would like to make it 2 for the Earnhardt family in 2008. Back in Indianapolis, trouble for the 88 car. Car bobbing and weaving. He has lost the lead, and he has a tire going down. He is now 17 laps in, or making 18 laps into a run. He pitted, remember, back on lap number 7.
Yeah, the good news is he thinks it's a left side tire that's going down right here. He's trying to get down in here and get to pit road. Right side tires are up. Looks like that left front tire is a little bit soft.
Yep, that's actually down the apron. And he went down.
Turn the tire up.
Says he's got a bad vibration. That could just be a tire worn out.
This is exactly what we were speculating on. This how it be. He was actually down the apron between turns 1 and 2. He was not even over where he's getting ready to come into the pits.
Now, they passed up an opportunity to pit the last time by. See right here, just after Jimmy Johnson had made the pass, and he goes up the racetrack pretty hard here. Actually, all the tires look to be up.
Yeah, I think he said that he's got with a vibration, you think that tire is coming apart or wearing out there, and so that's the problem. Looks like maybe the right rear now.
That's the right
so
rear.
He's worn the right rear out, and this is exactly what the driver said. There's not much warning. It gives you a little bit of a warning, but you better get into the pits as soon as you feel something.
That was a huge gamble they played the last caution, and they're paying for it right here.
He went from leading the race to in serious trouble in about 300 yards.
Yeah, the only good thing they have on their side right here is they can get in here. Even if they happen to lose the lap right now, they can be the lucky dog then. So things could work out for them because we are going to have a competition yellow here soon. Dave?
DJ, you talked about having a warning. Remember, Dale Earnhardt Jr. tested here, one of 3 teams that tested for Goodyear. And Tony Year Jr., his crew chief, told me that one of the things that they learned from that was that Junior could feel when the tire was starting to cord. That may have really paid off big for him here as he felt it, got it into the pits without damaging that race car with the tire coming apart.
You can see he has lost a lap. He's gone a lap down, but we are going to have another competition yellow here shortly, and so that should get him back on the lead lap.
Yeah, he's very lucky not to hit the wall or have a problem with the tire coming apart, destroying the body. So it's still early, and there's going to be a lot more problems like this, I'm afraid, to cause this race to get turned upside down.
Well, we're hearing it's going to be lap 30 now whenever they throw the next caution. So, but these guys, you have to know that everybody else is wondering just how long their tires are going to go too. We still have a problem here. We can see that it's probably getting better, but there still is that issue right now.
Issues on the 2 car earlier today. Let's check in where Mike is caught up with Kurt Busch.
And you can see the disappointment on Kurt Busch's face. And Kurt, we've seen so many tire problems right now. You got to wonder, was a tire a factor there?
Well, we were in full conservation mode, not in any hurry to go anywhere. Guys were passing us because our car was real tight and real loose at the same time. And Harvick was, man, just innocent bystander. I hate that he got collected up, and my mistake, trying to keep it away from the wall. Car snapped loose, and there it went. And so, rough day for him, rough day for us with the Miller Lite Dodge. I hate that my crew guys didn't even get to make any pit stops and change these tires. Yeah, the tires are an issue, but, you know, when you know it going in, then it shouldn't be a problem. And so I just made a mistake out there.
Obviously, very disappointed. Kurt Busch so badly wanted to give Roger Penske his first stock car victory here in Indy.
Indeed, Mike. Mark Martin having his issue.
He's made a good move right here. He's got right side tires under green, off pit road. He's going to get out without losing a lap.
Guys. They're coming. Just stay high. Give them a little room.
And here's another tire blown out on the 42 car. Montoya. Caution is out.
Caution. Caution is out. Just stay on the track here. You got more coming.
Montoya, who qualified second a year ago for that man Chip Ganassi and finished second. Been a good year for Chip Ganassi at this racetrack. Scott Dixon winning the Indy 500. You saw Brian Patty very pensive. Here's what happened to Juan Pablo Montoya. Left side of your screen.
Tire just comes apart and then takes a lot of the work underneath that car with it. I don't think it tore up a fender, though, Andy, maybe.
Yeah, it tore it up just a little bit on the outside of the right rear. And this is what we're talking about with Junior. He was very lucky for this not to happen to him. He got his car to pit road before that happened.
And we saw Mark Martin on pit road. I think that was a planned, scheduled deal, don't you?
Absolutely.
To get them back out and not have to pit under this caution.
How about Kyle Busch, our points leader, dodging a bullet that happened right in front of Kyle and Jeff Burton. Here is Montoya in the pits. There's the damage to the right rear.
Yeah, a lot more damage. You saw that, Andy. It's a lot more damage. That's huge right there. That's going to take away a lot of chance. They're going to have to do some serious work on that race car as they come back in the next time around.
So Dale Earnhardt Jr. has had to come on the pit road. Mark Martin came in a lap later, and now Juan Pablo Montoya comes in for a tire change and some repairs. This is the second competition yellow that NASCAR has put out because of the big concern of tire wear.
Okay, you won't see anybody stay out here except Mark Martin because he just pitted under green. He'll stay out. He's on the tail end of the lead lap. He'll end up inheriting the lead. That was a good move by Tony Gibson. He heard NASCAR change it to 32, or to lap 30 from 32, and so he pulled him in a lap soon. Here comes Jeff Gordon.
Teams will be allowed to add fuel here. They could not until the competition yellow, so that's why they will all head in. Let's go down to Mike.
And Jeff Gordon leads the field to pit road. Last time down, he only took right sides. This time, however, 4 tires and a full load of Sunoco race fuel on the race leader, Jeff Gordon. Jamie?
17 18, and Matt Kenseth in. This is the first time they're going to take 4 tires. That first stop, they only took right sides. He says car is pretty good. Little air pressure to help that tire wear. Dave?
Chip Johnson's car was just a little bit tight. Track bar adjustment for that 4-tire change. But how about this alarming observation? He could see the leader, Jeff Gordon's tires cording in front of him. He gave that observation to his crew.
Kyle Busch, the points leader, gains 3 spots. Jeff Gordon will lose the lead. Greg Biffle's bunch doing a good job on pit road, up 7 position. Denny Hamlin, the Joe Gibbs Racing team, back 3 positions. Competition yellow, lap 30, getting everyone on and off pit road, and they allowing them to add fuel in the car here. They couldn't before on this competition yellow. There's the points leader, who's already had a pretty good weekend here, dominated the NASCAR Nationwide Series event at O'Reilly Raceway Park last night.
The Allstate 400 at the Brickyard under caution as people try and get through 400 miles to be able to kiss those bricks at the end of the day. This is one of those that's going to be tough on a lot of people, and it's already been tough on some of those drivers on the bubble for making the race to the chase, the championship run for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Remember Kevin Harvick in the accident earlier today to the garage. He's back out on the racetrack now, but as they run at the moment, it's knocked him out of that championship qualified group. Keep an eye on those standings as the day unfolds. Let's talk to our in-race reporter, DJ.
Hey, Tony Stewart, Dale Jarrett, you have a copy? Go ahead. All right, Tony, we're already seeing some problems out there with the tires. Can you race right now, or are you just in conservation mode?
Well, I mean, the hard thing is it's a robbing Peter to pay Paul situation. I mean, you can't afford to give up all the track position because it's hard to pass, but at the same time, you got to take care of it. I mean, I think what we saw that last run there is guys really fall off there, after about 10 or 12 laps there. So you got to take care of them, but you can't. You got to run hard enough to stay and keep your track position, but you can't burn it up in the first 5 laps to make it last.
How is your car right now?
I was a little bit tight the first run in the center of the corner, the entry and exit. This past run, the right rear seemed to give up a little more. Got freer on entry and really loose on the exit. So just trying to tighten it up here a little bit, take what it gives us through the center right now.
All right, Tony, thanks for your time. Talk to you later.
All right, bud.
Hey, Greg Zipadelli, Andy Petrie, you got us?
Yes.
Hey, we're seeing this tire wear. It doesn't look like it's getting any better. Do you see it improving at all?
We ran longer that time, so it's hard to say. I know that ours looked better than most of the cars around us, but I'm still not happy with it. So, like Tony just said, we're gonna run just as hard as we have to kind of maintain ourselves a spot in the top 10. We'll keep working on our car, get our balance good, and kind of let him get a feel for how hard he can run for how many laps when it comes to the end of the day. That's the important thing. And right now, everybody here at Home Depot, the team's doing a good job.
Yeah, keep your fingers crossed and good luck the rest of the way, Greg. Thanks. Let's go down to Mike Massaro.
And Andy, during that round of pit stops, you heard Dave Burns report that Jimmy Johnson could actually visually see the tire coming apart on Jeff Gordon's car. Well, this is the right rear from the 24 car, and you can see how visible it is. Down to the copper, down to the nylon, very worn out. Also, just a pit stall down, the 42 car, that's where Juan Pablo Montoya's car was pitted. He also had a tire. His right rear exploded.
Tire issues, the main topic of discussion in Indianapolis. Back with the restart in a moment. Points leader Kyle Busch is also race leader Kyle Busch. There's Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the inside. He is a 1 lap down, one of 3 cars a lap down as the green flag lays here on lap 35 at Indianapolis.
I think it's worth pointing out that 2 of the 3 cars that you saw in that inside line that are laps down were 2 of the guys that stayed out. The 88 and the 70 that stayed out earlier ended up a lap down.
They gambled for track position, and it bit them because their tires went down and had to pit under green.
Some of the drivers, you hear Tony Stewart talking about being aggressively conservative, if you can do such a thing on the racetrack, and how hard can you race. But this guy's not being very conservative. The 18 car Kyle Busch is just trying to pull away.
was talking to some of the guys in the garage area this morning. They said it didn't seem to matter how hard you ran. The tires still wore out at the same time.
Yeah, it's not in Kyle Busch's makeup to be conservative anyway. I don't think he's going to get out there and go as hard as he can. As we see Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson right behind him. Dale Jr., the fourth car in line, right now is really just trying to stay right there in case there is another caution.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. would be the lucky dog if he would get another yellow. Now, let's move up to the 24 car. Second spot, Jeff Gordon, and listen in to his radio.
This is your kind of race. I mean, we're going to conserve. We're fast enough that we just need to see him when it comes time. One thing we need to watch is I think you might actually get better wear out front because you actually have some downforce. If you get behind 2 or 3 cars, they slide, you might wear them worse. Just FYI.
Okay, and that's maybe why he's putting pressure on Kyle Busch right here to take the lead. He gets it.
Yeah, and what they're talking about there, if you're behind the car, you're losing the front end just a little bit, and so that's making you work that right rear tire harder to get the car turned and going, as we see both the Hendrick cars going by Kyle Busch.
And Jimmy Johnson goes by. Dale Earnhardt Jr. isn't there yet. By the way, for you Ryan Newman fans, Ryan Newman had a right rear tire go down just as the competition yellow came out. He was able to come down pit road, and that's also why Mark Martin came back in. He had an issue, so they both caught a break with that competition yellow on lap 30. Here is Jimmy Johnson.
He wants that clean air and that downforce on his car.
Well, he's shown all week that he is the car to beat. He sat on the pole. He was fastest in practice, and it looks like he's going to be the man to beat here today. He's going to have to deal with his teammate, though, Jeff Gordon. If I'm looking for somebody out there and I want them to conserve tires and run fast to get the most out of the car, Jeff Gordon would be that guy.
The next competition yellow is going to be on lap 47, NASCAR's just told us.
Jimmy Johnson won it here in 2006. Jeff Gordon going for his 5th win. Looking back from Jeff Gordon's on board, Dale Earnhardt Jr. A lap down, he pitted on lap 7. Had tire issues on lap 24, had to come on the pit road, and that's where he lost a lap under green.
If you Dale Jr. fans just tuned in right now, I hate you missed these first 35 laps of this race, but he is a lap down sitting right there behind his teammate, and he's just waiting for the next caution. He can be the lucky dog at that time and get back on the lead lap. He's still going to have a big day ahead of him in trying to work his way back towards the front, but that's the immediate goal for them right now.
Moving past the front 3, the 16 car of Greg Biffle is in 4th position. Dave.
And working that group right there, that red car, Doc talked to his crew chief, Greg Irwin, and he said, we didn't make any chassis adjustments on that run because Greg liked the balance, but also because the tires that came off, the rubber was so far worn off them, we couldn't read them. We couldn't tell from this side anything else to do. You got to be able to read those tires, guys.
The only thing you can do right now, Dave, is look at the tire wear as they come off. If one of them's completely gone, and if it's the right rear, you know your car's probably a little bit loose. But you can't do it the conventional way, like sticking with a temperature gauge or checking the tire wear with a gauge.
Jeff Burton started all the way back in 30th position, and here's a driver who's normally very conservative with his equipment, but he's been a little racy here early on.
Yeah, not only is conservative with his equipment, but he's a good chassis man, and he's probably got the very best setup right now as we see Dale Jr. go around Jeff Gordon there. That's not for a position, but he's showing how strong his car is.
Maybe serving notice saying, you know what, when I do get the lucky dog, look out.
Oh, yeah, a while ago when he had the lead, when he did stay out, he could drive away from these guys, even on tires that had a few more laps. So he's got a great race car. And it's still early. A lot of racing left.
A lot of things are going to happen before this day is over with. And we were talking about Jeff Burton as we see him make a move to the inside here. This guy really knows his chassis well. He works hard on this car and looks like he's got a really good race car for today. You start back in 32nd, you think, wow, he's going to have a long day ahead of him. But they've made the most of these cautions so far and got themselves in a good spot.
11 car, Denny Hamlin. He had some issues last time out at Chicagoland, was very frustrated by a poor performance here a year ago. Had to wait a year to get back and now make it up for it as he's just wearing the back of that 7 car, Bobby Gordon now.
He kind of struggled a little bit in practice, but the longer they went in practice, the better they got. I talked to Mike Ford in the garage this morning, and he felt like that maybe they didn't have exactly the right motor combination to run those real fast laps, but when this pace slowed down, they felt like it really played into their hands here.
17 car, Matt Kenseth. And DJ, the 17 car is the one you guys said everybody in the garage here yesterday was talking about. Look out for Matt in the race. he's the kind of guy that could really be hard to handle.
Yeah, I think everybody was talking about that. I think he surprised a lot of people and probably himself by qualifying 10th, but everybody pointed towards Matt Kenseth that his car was really handling well, wasn't abusing the tires quite as much as some other people, so we'll watch his progress as the day goes on.
Competition caution will come out in 6 laps. 18 car of Kyle Busch going back around Jeff Gordon. Gordon had made a move, and Kyle comes right back by. Jimmy Johnson, the leader. We'll take a break and come back to Indianapolis in a moment.
Hope you join us tonight for all the post-race reaction from today's Indianapolis race. NASCAR Now, ESPN2, 10 Eastern Time. Then tomorrow, our NASCAR Now Roundtable at 5 Eastern Time. We'll break down all of what happened and why. Boy, are we going to have a lot to talk about. And a busy weekend next weekend. Qualifying from Pocono Friday. The Nationwide Series race from Montreal Saturday. And the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Pocono next Sunday. All coming up over the next 7 days. We are just past the 1/4 point of this race. Jimmy Johnson is out in front, started on the pole. This is the 3rd time he's led the event. Jimmy thinking while he's driving about what he might need to do to this race car and talking about it with his team.
Turned off my left front fan, try to make that work more, help the right front. Is that a good thought or no?
Say no, Jimmy, because the hotter that left front gets and the more it builds up, the tighter the car will get, which will actually make it use the right front more.
Interaction between Jimmy Johnson and his crew chief, Chad Knaus. Rusty, Brad, you're watching all this unfold. Impressions so far?
Well, right now, I'm taking a look at Clint Boyer. This guy started 40th. He's all the way up to 13th right now. In fact, he just fell back to 15th just then, but a big move from the back up to the front. Guys, this next pit stop's going to be really the key to see how good this tire wear is. And, Brad, it doesn't look like it's getting any better right now.
No, it doesn't, but it's interesting. All of your chasers basically right now are up in the top 8. And if you look at those guys in the top 10, it seems like Hendrick, Gibbs, and Roush are all dealing with this tire problem better than the other teams. Those 3 are really doing a great job as a team.
Now here's Mark Martin. This will be an early pit stop, Doc.
Alan, the competition yellow was a lap away, but Mark Martin now has had 2 issues with right side tires. He comes back in. Jamie.
And, Doc, the call will be right sides and fuel only. You know, Mark Martin, a veteran here. Tony Gibson said anytime my driver wants to come in because he's feeling the cords in those tires, I let him. And that's exactly what just happened with Mark Martin.
3rd time he has been on pit road with an issue with the right side tires. And again, we went back to green on lap 35. The competition yellow coming out on lap 47. So this time by, they will wave. They are supposed to wave the yellow.
The key thing here is if he can beat Jimmy Johnson onto the racetrack and stay in front of him, the competition yellow will be coming out here momentarily. He'll stay on the lead lap. So this is really smart by Mark Martin. If he can stay out in front of Jimmy.
Not only is he hoping that, but Dale Jr.'s hoping that Mark Martin stays in front because that's going to allow him then to catch the lucky dog and get back on the lead lap. You see problems with the 99 car right here, too. He's having a tire issue right here as he slowed down. He had moved all the way up to 2nd, but now he's got a tire issue. About 10 laps looks like it's the most that they can go here.
I can make it around, I think.
Matt Kenseth's around. He knew he had slowed down and blew a right rear tire. You can see it blew the quarter off.
Caution's out.
Kenseth damage on the right side of his Ford.
We'd seen off the car, Chip. The whole right side's gone.
We'd seen him slow down and lose about 5 or 6 spots just a lap ago. Jamie?
Well, you guys were talking about what a great car he had, and Matt Kenseth radioed 2 laps ago and said, guys, I need to pit. I'm going to hang on right now, but you guys, I have to come in. My tires are gone, and you just saw what happened. He said, Chip, should I pit now? And boom, that was the end of it. He spun, guys.
That looks like an explosion underneath the right rear fender. Just blew part of the fender off.
Yeah, we heard in the replay with Montoya, and it sounded like a bomb blew up when his right rear tire blew.
17 car, Casey King going by. Whoa, and there it was. Oh, look at the pieces coming apart. Part of the window coming out.
You're going close to 200 miles an hour at the end of these straightaways, and when that tire does go flat and the pieces start flying, I mean, it's a lot of force. You can see it just takes the entire right side quarter panel off of it.
You know, these guys are normally under just a tremendous amount of stress racing here. The speeds that you get. Right now, these guys are just holding on and hoping that something like this doesn't happen to them, and in particular, doesn't happen to the right front.
All the other guys running through debris on the racetrack.
I should have pit 3 laps ago. It's just so hard to communicate around here.
Yeah, what Matt's talking about is it's such a big racetrack, and the radios don't work that great over on the backstretch. They're trying to talk to each other, and they probably didn't have good enough reception.
Only that, he doesn't want to take his hand off the wheel to push that button, or even a couple of fingers to do that. So it does make it difficult. You're right. And the transmission from these guys that are sitting on the pit box here on the front stretch to when you're trying to talk to them can be very sketchy at times.
Yeah, we look at the pit box right in front of us is Matt Kenseth. We can see he's got a pole with an antenna on it, but it's still very iffy on the communication.
The support bracket for the C-pillar is completely gone. They're trying
garage, Matt.
Yeah, they're going to have to go to the garage area and fix some of this.
They're not going to be able to get that window back in. Here come the leaders now. Jimmy Johnson, Kyle Busch. You see Jeff Burton pulling in. Let's go down to Shannon.
Well, Jeff Burton having battery problems right now. He's on 12 volts. They're going to take right sides only. Everything is turned off in that car, guys. Mike?
Steve Letarte just came over the radio and told Jeff, look what just happened to the 17. Tires are a major factor. He used that to make a point with Jeff as to be conservative as he possibly can. A 4-tire change on the 24, Dave.
Calculated risk here. After looking at the tires, Chad Knaus wanted more weight off the left front tire, so the track bar adjustment will actually make it a little bit looser. Jimmy's a little bit concerned about that. A 4-tire change.
Race off of pit road, Kyle Busch up a spot. A.J. Allmendinger up 5. Got to believe right side tires on the 84 car. Likewise, Jeff Burton +3. And the loser there, Jimmy Johnson. Of course, those guys you heard opting to go 4 tires and make adjustments there on the 48 car. We'll update the adjustments and the tire changes there. Look at them over here in the Jeff Gordon pits. Back in just a moment. Welcome back to the Allstate 400 at the Brickyard, and the aerial coverage provided by our good friends at Goodyear. For track-tested technology, get there on Goodyear Innovation. A lot of concern on pit road. There's the debris off the 17 car. Matt Kenseth was one of the cars in the top 12 in points in the chase. He's now in the garage area. Concern on Jimmy Johnson's crew. Chad Knaus opting to take 4 tires, not going to take any chances.
That was a great move by Chad Knaus, because I think those left side tires could help take a little pressure off the rights. And this race has turned into defense for him at this point. He needs to make sure that he doesn't tear his car up. It's a good move on their part.
Yeah, you can see even the best cars are having serious problems here. The cars that are running the best and out front, they're having serious problems. That's not a good situation right there, I'll assure you folks. That tire right there, what, Andy, a lap from going apart?
That's 1 lap away from actually coming apart and blowing out, just like we saw Matt Kenseth.
Okay, driver and crew chief, what do you do if you're NASCAR? You let these guys run 12 laps a moment ago. Some of them only made 10, some made 11. What do you do now?
Well, NASCAR is trying to extend these competition yellows, thinking that this tire wear is going to get better. We all thought it would, and they need to extend it if we're going to finish this race with the tires we have. So, we're just not seeing it get any better.
We're trying to get rubber on the track, but we're getting the wrong kind of rubber down. We're trying to get rubber in these grooves, and it's not working. All we're getting is the rubber from the blown tires out here. So we're going to have to, right now, they're going to have to look at only 8-lap segments until something changes to show us that they can go further.
Yeah, that's Robin Pemberton walking right there. He's a vice president, NASCAR competition. And he's concerned, I'll guarantee. He's going to talk to these guys, look at the situation.
Robin, a former longtime crew chief, he understands what these guys are going through. He has been in their shoes. He's won a lot of races over the years. That's one of the reasons NASCAR hired him to go down and look specifically as he goes by team after team and looks at the tires.
Yeah, and everybody I know is probably saying, well, why couldn't Goodyear come with something better than this? Let me assure you, folks, they tried their very best to bring the tire that's going to make the competition the best and that the drivers are going to be safe with. This is such a difficult and unique racetrack because of the diamond grinding that they do with this racing surface. It gives the driver a great deal of feel and grip for it, but it also creates a problem in trying to come here and test. When you only bring 3 cars, Andy, you can't get much rubber down and see exactly what's going to happen.
You never can. In Goodyear, the big wild card in this is the car, not the track. They've dealt with this track in the diamond grinding before. This is the first time we've had this race car on this racetrack.
A lot of worried looks on crew chief's faces. Points leader Kyle Busch's pitch. You saw that Matt Kenseth came here 8th in the points. He's in the garage area right now.
The Allstate 400 at the Brickyard is brought to you by McDonald's. And by Napa Auto Parts. Napa, get the good stuff. A rough, tough day here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway thus far. We're not even halfway through the All-State 400 at the Brickyard. We are under the fourth caution of the day. A situation, very complex situation involving tires, NASCAR's new car, the difficult surface here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Steve Letarte, Jeff Gordon's crew chief on the left. Robin Pemberton, NASCAR's vice president of competition on the right. This is Letarte on the radio to his driver a couple of minutes ago.
With 25, 35, 40 to go, we'll get worried about it. Right now, we just want to make sure we're there with 40 to go. It is what it is. It's like we said, don't complain. This is what we have. You know how to race it. We know how to pit it. We're going to outlast them all day.
And Steve Letarte has been coaching his driver over the last several laps. Well, we saw you have a conversation with Robin Pemberton. What was discussed?
Oh, I was just letting him know how our tires look, what Jeff said about, Jeff done this a long time. He's been a part of weeks like this, and we let him know how hard he was running, how hard we were using our tires, just so we can make good decisions, put on the best show possible for the fans.
This is a challenge we've seen very few times before. How do you deal with it?
Well, you just got to be smart. We got the smartest guy out there. This track has always been abrasive on tires since they've grooved it, and DuPont Chevrolet's really fast today, so we just want to make sure we're around at the end.
Jeff Gordon, by Steve Letarte's instructions, trying to be a little bit more conservative here, guys.
Hey guys, I'm back here with Matt Kenseth. He's in the car, and so is one of his crew members, all working on that right side quarter panel. What was that feeling like, Matt? And did you have any idea the amount of damage there?
Well, yeah, it was like a small explosion. So, yeah, I could see in the mirror the quarter window and everything was blown off it. So it's just it's a really, really, really disappointing situation. This is one of the two biggest races of the year, and to never have this car here before and not come and do an open test and work on these things and work on the tires is pretty darn disappointing. We had a great car today, and I feel bad for the fans and everything. We're out there running 3/4 speed because we're worried the tires are blowing out, and we got them blowing out every 8 laps. So it's pretty disappointed.
Matt, we'll go back to Alan in 1 second. Hold on, Matt. We heard you talking on the radio. You're pretty calm, but all of a sudden your voice went up a pretty few octaves there. How long does it take to really feel this tire before it goes?
Well, you get about 6 corners of a warning, about a lap and a half. It'll just get loose if it's the right rear, and then this one started shaking about 3 seconds before it blew out. So we should have put under green, but man, we only had 2 laps trying to make it, just tried to stretch it too far. But you should be able to run 8 laps on a set of tires.
8 laps for Matt Kenseth. They're working about 15 guys on this car right now, Doc. We'll see if he can get back out.
Thanks, Jamie. Matt Kenseth was 8th in the points coming into today. He is in the garage area trying to get that car repaired. Points leader Kyle Busch leads him down. A.J. Allmendinger in the 84 car in second. Jeff Burton is third. You heard Steve Letarte tell his driver, Jeff Gordon, we just got to outlast them. How's that for a challenge today?
That is a challenge at over 200 miles per hour and a racetrack that you come to with anticipation of winning a Brickyard 400 and getting that trophy and going to victory lane, and here you are having to battle these type of elements. Makes it even more difficult than the day would normally be.
I've dealt with some of these situations before, like Dover, Delaware, where we've had tire problems, and it's just hard to be on defense, but you got to keep the reins pulled back, and you got to make sure you're not the first one to have a problem. Somebody's going to have a problem. Just as long as it's not you, you'll be okay.
We've talked about that we've had these type of problems before as we see some debris there on the front stretch. So that almost looks like a spring rubber or something there. But I don't think they've ever been this severe, Andy, and they kind of eliminated themselves throughout the day. But this doesn't seem to be getting any better right now.
Yeah, this is the most severe tire situation I've ever experienced. They're going to have another competition yellow at lap 64, which is going to hopefully be in time before some of these guys have more problems.
For you Kurt Busch fans, the 2 car is back on the racetrack. He was involved in a spin and collected the 29 of Kevin Harvick. Both the 29 and the 2 now are back on the track. Lap 55 of 160, Kyle Busch the leader. A.J. Allmendinger is second. Jeff Burton, Elliott Sadler, Jimmy Johnson, Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex, and there's Jeff Gordon you saw a moment ago. Jeff Gordon back in the 8th position with Bobby Labonte and Jamie McMurray behind him in 9th and 10th. Looking back from Jeff Gordon at Martin Truex Jr., talking about uphill battles. He's here without his crew chief and his car chief. Having a pretty good run now, being shown in the 8th spot.
These guys up front only took on 2 tires there, so it's working pretty good for them right now. But once again, as we see Dale Jr. and Jimmy Johnson making pass around Elliott Sadler there. And you might be wondering why Jr. didn't get the lucky dog the last time. Just before that caution came out, Sam Hornish Jr. in the 77 had come down pit road to get some tires, and he got back out in front of Jr. He was a lap down, so he was the one that received that the last time.
A.J. Allmendinger holding his own here behind Kyle Busch. Former open wheel star, has led 3 laps all year long. Boy, would he love to lead here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
I'm really impressed with this 84 team, and actually this whole Red Bull team. They have gotten so much better over the last 6 or 8 weeks. They're actually contenders now to win races. Jimmy Elledge is now a new crew chief for A.J. Allmendinger. They seem to gel real well, and they got great-looking race cars. I was down there in the garage looking at these cars, and they're really nice cars.
Yeah, this is very impressive. Doc, we saw him right before the race was going to start, and he was telling me he wasn't really looking forward to this. Matter of fact, he was offering me his car. If I know it's going to be that good, I might have taken him up on that.
Yeah, we just heard him say lap 64 is the next competition yellow. 7 laps away.
Just joined our coverage. We've had 3 competition yellows thus far. Lap 14, lap 30, and lap 47. The issue is tire wear. Tires are wearing very quickly and very abruptly with very little warning. And we've had some fairly heavily damaged cars. The most heavily damaged, the 17 car of Matt Kenseth, still back in the garage area being repaired.
You see the 99 car there making a pass. Carl Edwards had driven up to second just before that last caution, but just as that was coming out, he was having a tire issue. He really had to slow down, so now he's trying to work his way back to the front again.
99 is Carl Edwards. He's being shown in 10th position. Martin Truex in 11th in the 1 car. Behind him, the 6 of David Reagan in his 2nd season full-time in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series.
And David Reagan trying to race his way into this chase. He's 2 spots out of the chase right now, but he's had a really strong, consistent race team. If he has this kind of performance to the end of the year, or into the chase, or till the chase, he might have a good shot at it.
Yeah, we heard Matt Kenseth talk a while ago, and we can look at the times here. These times are up over 53 seconds on these laps. We heard Matt Kenseth say the guys are basically running about 3/4 of what they could do just to be conservative with these tires and try to get to the end.
We are 5 laps away from the next competition yellow. Can they make it? So far, we've seen people who have been a lap shy in the previous ones. Back in a moment. Let's take a look at the AT&T Crew Chief Challenge. We asked you the question, which driver currently not in the chase has the best chance to make it this year? Would you vote for Clint Boyer? Or would you vote for Byers? Would you vote for Reagan? How about Newman? And how did the vote go? Well, I mean, I tell you what, pretty good vote there for the 83 car and Brian Vickers, I should say. 37% for Vickers, but right now, some of the other guys are running pretty well here.
Jimmy Johnson just took the lead away from Kyle Busch. He ran him down from a good ways back, too. Jimmy's got a great race car.
He's got a good car. They took 4 tires. You said you thought that was a really good decision on their part, and obviously they've won 2 championships, a lot because of the driving talent of Jimmy Johnson, but a lot because of that crew chief in sitting on the box, Chad Canals, Andy.
Yeah, that was a great decision. I really agreed with that when I saw it. And mainly because they have such a good race car. If you're struggling for track position is one thing, but when you got a car as good as this 48's been, that's a good decision to keep 4 tires on.
Again, the 2 cars he went by only took on 2 tires, Kyle Busch and A.J. Allmendinger, and we are expecting the competition yellow here in the next lap.
So far, so good. Haven't seen any problems in this run. See A.J. Allmendinger now coming around Kyle Busch, taking that spot away.
Now, the problem is so far so good. The problem that we're seeing is we see Dale Jr. go to the inside. It looks like, I don't know if he's just letting these guys go or if he's starting to feel something in his race car. Once again, this is about the time we've started to see problems.
That was Elliott Sadler just passed Dale Earnhardt Jr. I think Jr.'s just trying to survive until we have this caution.
Yeah. Elliott Sadler really liked his chances coming in here, and I spoke with him some last night, and as apprehensive as he was about the tire situation, he was very excited about his race car. We see he's up to 6th spot, where his pit's right in front of our vantage point right here, and he started this race with 13 sets of tires, and I think we see about 6 down in here right now, so that's not boding well since we're not even halfway through yet as to what they're going to do.
And we see right here the 18 car, Kyle Busch having some problems getting in the corner, letting these guys go. He might be having a tire issue.
Again, he only took on the 2 tires on the previous competition yellow. as he falls back into the clutches of the lap car of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Let's get down to Mike.
Well, Doc, A.J. Allmendinger's spotter was talking with Kyle Busch's spotter not too long ago. They were trying to put together a deal to let A.J. Allmendinger lead a lap. That may explain the pass we just saw recently there, but it does look like the 18 car might be struggling a bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure Kyle Busch will let anybody pass. He's going to race him pretty hard, but he's having some problems right now, Mike. He's losing quite a few spots.
And it's just a real chance that he's taking that there. He's in a good spot as the points leader. He's got all those victories, so he's got a lot of bonus points built up for when the chase comes. But this is still a real chance.
He doesn't want to have happen to his car what we saw happen to Matt Kenseth. As he blows that tire out, blows the quarter panel off, he's going to lose a lot of time, a lot of spots.
Yeah, 262-point lead could be poof, pretty well gone if that were to happen to him. There's the 17 car. Speaking of getting back in the racetrack, Matt Kenseth. Heavily damaged right rear fender.
Quite a few laps down. They did get the car fixed. The caution is out.
Competition, yo.
Well, that's the first time we've made it to that without any incidents, so maybe things are progressing a little bit, but we did see Kyle Busch, who started out as the leader there with just those 2 tires, start to have some problems.
Fourth competition yellow we have had today. Again, if you just joined our coverage, lap 14, lap 30, lap 47, and now lap 65. That should put Dale Earnhardt Jr. back on the lead lap. There is the National Guard Chevrolet driver. Dale Jr. being the lucky dog. He will get to go back. He's the first car on lap down, and now will get back on the lead lap. He lost that lap by virtue of having a flat left rear tire. On lap 24, had to come on pit road and lost a lap under green.
Well, this is the opportunity he's been waiting for. Now, we've seen him run up in the top 5 or 6 cars on the racetrack, but he's been that lap down the entire time. So it'll be interesting to see how he progresses through the field here as we see these guys get ready for their next pit stop.
After what we saw happen to Kyle Busch and A.J. Allmendinger, Andy, would any of these crew chiefs opt for 2 tires instead of 4?
Yeah, right sides are the ones giving the most problems. So if guys are looking for track position or struggling for it, yeah, take the chance and get right sides. For Jimmy Johnson and his guys, it was a good move to get 4. But if you're trying to get that track position, it's hard to do if you're getting 4 tires and trying to pass these guys.
Yeah, you might have to alternate that. I wouldn't want to get a couple of runs or more than a couple of runs on those left side tires, but certainly it's a chance to take. A.J. Allmendinger did a great job right there. He shows how good a race car he had. He stayed right there in second spot.
And I think you'll see Jimmy Johnson just get right sides on this one, just like you said, Dale. They'll alternate getting rights and then getting 4. But they just need to keep this car on the racetrack and not have a problem.
Jimmy Johnson has led 4 times for 32 laps. There have been 10 lead changes among 6 different drivers. And here they come down pit road, 55 miles per hour. Shannon.
Well, Doc, Jeff Burton was having problems with his battery, but it seems under these cautions, they've been getting better. The battery's been replenishing itself. Right now, they're thinking big picture, 4 tires for this 31 team. They're thinking championship points, no changes. Mike.
A.J. Allmendinger began the game complaining about his race car, saying it was just way too tight, but he's gotten more comfortable with it. Just a 2-tire change on the 84.
Good news for the 19 camp. Elliott Sadler said that is the best his car and tires have felt in a long run all day. They took right sides only. Dave?
Andy, the 48 team liked your first assessment. Good race car. Keep putting 4 tires on it. Same adjustment as last time because it didn't give up the right rear too much, according to the driver. He's off pit road.
That's still a good move. I suspected he might take 2 on that one, but he was able to drive to the lead. He could just pass these guys and get the lead, so he only loses just a few spots.
Guys, the top guys off the pit road there, changing only right side tires, and look at the cords in the middle of those tires that came off of Jeff Burton Chevrolet. Still some serious issues here with the tires at Indy.
We continue under caution here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Let's head down to pit road. Shannon?
Well, Alan, 4 sets of tires is what we're hearing from the 31 camp. As you can see, these are the tires that just came off the 31 car. This is Jeff Burton's right rear tire. However, Scott Miller, now you do see the cording, but Scott Miller said this is the best that this right rear tire has looked all day. So we are starting to see a little improvement, especially right here in the 31 camp. Mike?
Well, thank you, Shannon. Pretty much the same story down here in the 84 camp. Jimmy Elledge conserved tires during practice, saved a set, so now they have 4 sets remaining for the race.
Now, Rod, Randy Childers, crew chief for Elliott Sadler, just came on the radio. He said their tires look pretty good compared to everybody else. This just came off on the last stop. You see the cords here on the right rear. Now, they told me they have 4 to 5 sets left. Now, they're playing the little game here, but if you add it up, they had 10 sets to begin with. 1 set was on the car, 9 sets remaining. They've done 4 pit stops. That would give you 5 sets remaining. So this team said they are good to the end. Dave?
Jamie, 4.5 sets remaining in Jimmy Johnson's pit, and the crew told me that they'll be allowed to perhaps go for the next type of tire, that tire called the Pocono tire, when they're down to 2 sets, but they're not down to that yet, and NASCAR will stick to their plan to giving these guys more as is necessary. Alan?
All right, Dave, thanks. Rusty Wallace, if you're inside one of those race cars right now and you're dealing with this, what are you thinking?
Oh, man, I'm just going to have a lot of self-control. I got to be really careful out there. I mean, not overdrive the car, because lap 10 is about all these cars can go right now. But, hey, you know what? If I'm an owner, I'm asking Goodyear, do I have to pay for these tires? These babies are wearing out too fast, man.
That's exactly right. And, boy, it's really just a tough situation to be in. It's somewhat disappointing. I mean, we wanted to see a great race take place today. And right now, we're dealing with these segmented races. And that's just not a lot of fun to watch. We want to see these guys go out, run hard, and have an opportunity to try and win this race. This is really disappointing.
And again, just if you didn't catch the whole explanation of the situation, this racetrack surface, normally rough on tires anyway, takes a while to rubber in. Normally during Friday and Saturday practice and qualifying, that happens. The race ends up okay. It just hasn't happened this weekend. A combination of new tire, NASCAR's new car, whatever, but right now still struggling with tire issues. So recap what's happened so far with our McDonald's race rundown. Real big story, the tires. This was Dale Earnhardt Jr. early. He tried to stay out, stretch a little fuel run, didn't work out. He ended up having a flat tire, and Jr. has been struggling to get back. Juan Pablo Montoya, troubles with him. Big bang, right rear tires gone up. Kyle Busch running well, but not so good. And there's Matt Kenseth. He had a right rear tire rip off the whole right rear quarter panel of the 17 car. Boy, it's just been ugly.
Well, I tell you, when they go, it really tear a lot of stuff up, too. I mean, look at the quarter panel. Like you said, look at there. No rubber whatsoever, right down to the cords. We have not seen this in a long time in NASCAR.
So we're not even to halfway in this race yet. We've had 5 caution flags. And Mr. Brewer, not only the rubber that's not sticking on the tires, but where that rubber debris ends up is something to think about here. Let's go to Tim Brewer at our ESPN Tech Center.
Thanks, Alan. I've never seen this in all my years of racing. Most of the time, the rubber's actually ground into the racetrack. But look at this, folks. This is literally a powder. And where it's accumulating is on the outside of the racetrack. But, you know, you start off with a brand new tire like this. This is what it looks like. AB?
I'd say not good is what it looks like. So A.J. Allmendinger is the leader after an exchange of pit stops and some strategy. And let's get more on the tire situation with Dave Burns.
We'll hear from Greg Stucker now. And Greg, a series of questions here. First of all, why do you believe this is happening today, this weekend?
It's just, I mean, we see this heavy wear at Indy all the time. Typically, it improves by the time we're at this point in the race. We don't really think it's improved much at all. It's a little bit different this year that we're seeing a lot more of the right rear wear, and we think that's just more indicative of this car, and it's just working the right rears more than the right front, which would be typically what we would see.
Will NASCAR stick to their plan, and you stick to the plan of using all of these up before we go to the other tire that's available?
Yeah, that's still the plan. You know, guys still have tires here on pit road. We're working with NASCAR right now to make sure we understand who's going to need tires first, make sure we exhaust all of our Indy inventory before we make a decision to get into the the backups we brought.
Will the backups improve the situation, Greg, and do you have enough to go to the end of the day?
Yeah, we've got plenty to get to the end of the day. I mean, that's why we have them here. It's going to be marginal. It's a very close tire, so we expect to see about the same.
All right, that's Greg Stucker from Goodyear, guys.
Restart here. A.J. Allmendinger, the 84 car, was the leader. Again, these guys taking on only 2 tires. Elliott Sadler there in the 19 car. And to answer Rusty Wallace's question a moment ago on cost, folks, these set of tires cost a little under $1,700 a set. Teams have used up to 10 sets the last couple of days, 10 sets a day, 20 sets. We're looking at about $34,000 in tires so far.
Yeah, that's a huge number, but you look at everything else that goes along with it. If it takes away your opportunity to win a lot of money here in this race, and then some of these guys is taking away their chance to make the chase. So this is a huge day money-wise for a lot of these car owners.
Denny Hamlin, the 11 car, making his way back up. He's being shown in 6th position, right behind Jeff Gordon in 5th.
NASCAR has just said they're going to throw another competition yellow at lap 81. so these guys can look at these tires and get them off, get some new ones on.
Martin Truex back in 8th position. That's Jeff Burton in 7th. Truex 8th. McMurray back in 9th. Jamie McMurray, we should say, in 9th. Greg Biffle back in 10th spot in the 16 car.
Yeah, Greg started the restart up in 3rd spot, but obviously the 2 tires that he put on not working with him good, as we see Jimmy Johnson go back to the lead. That 70 car just in front was Jason Leffler, was for the time being, was just got himself back on the tail end of the lead lap, but he's going down a lap once again.
Well, Jimmy Johnson's car is just so strong, and let him get out front makes it even faster. And he's got 4 tires. He's got that luxury of having such a good race car that he can put 4 tires on every time, and he can just blow by these guys that only have 2.
Yeah, we saw Jeff Gordon going by on the outside of Elliott Sadler there. Elliott got 2 tires. Gordon got 4 that last time. So here's the guy that's been the man the whole weekend, Jimmy Johnson, back out front once again.
Lap 73. Johnson now has led 5 times for 34 laps. He used a victory here in 2006 to launch himself toward a NASCAR Sprint Cup championship. We asked Jimmy Johnson about the importance of winning here today.
Winning at a track that's typically not your best racetrack, or historically not your best racetrack, also lifts the race team up. So if we could do that and get the momentum going in the right direction, or use that momentum that would bring to us, it would set things up just right for the chase.
A lot of drivers say that even though this is beyond the halfway point mathematically, they say this really is the halfway point of the season. They launch their chase, their pursuit for the chase and the championship with their run here at Indianapolis.
Yeah, and Jimmy talks about not typically being his best racetrack. I think he looks at results there. It's not that he can't drive this racetrack or doesn't have a good feel. It's just that he hasn't had the best results. And we see Brian Vickers in the 83 car coming to pit road right now.
Sure, it's awful early in this run to have a tire issue for Brian Vickers, so you got to wonder what this might be.
He had been showing in the top 10.
Could be a loose wheel from those pit stops, but just haven't run quite enough laps to really wear one of those tires.
No, but you know, we've had a lot of debris out on the racetrack, so anything could happen. Jamie?
Well, guys, Brian Vickers on the radio right now as he pulls into his pit box saying he can't turn the full RPMs, and he's telling the crew it differs on the front stretch of the back, so they lifted up the hood there. They're going to check it out. So having an engine issue on that 83 Red Bull machine, guys.
That's too bad for Brian Vickers because he had some momentum coming in here. We just talked about how well these Red Bull cars have been running. A.J. Allmendinger is still in 3rd spot, his teammate.
Yeah, you know, we've talked about tires, and they have been the issue here so much. We haven't even gotten into how difficult a racetrack this is, can be on the engines. Long straightaways, turning RPMs. You're back in the gas, and you're in the gas for a long time. Typically, we see a lot of engine problems here, but this is the first one we've seen so far as we ride along with Greg Biffle here down this long back straightaway.
Biffle's running 11th right now, and you can see he's got a little distance between himself and these guys in front of him. See the speed here, how fast these guys run through the middle of the corner. You're talking about 147 miles an hour is a minimum speed. You pick up here and you can hear those RPMs really climb.
See him easing back into the throttle. We saw in final practice yesterday lap speeds of 200, 201 entering the corner.
You see this tack is going well over 9,000 RPMs. That takes its toll on a car and an engine, because, especially at this racetrack, because you don't let the RPMs fall very much. You see right here, he's just below 7,000 and going over 9,000. That takes its toll.
DJ, you were talking about how you drive these cars differently with the throttle in the corners, and they've driven the old cars in the past. It's sort of a learning process.
Yeah, it really is, and we saw Greg Biffle there really get out of the gas early as we back on Jimmy Johnson and see the lead that he has over his teammate who's moved into 2nd spot, Jeff Gordon. But you're having to back out of the throttle a lot sooner, let the car roll, and then try to pick the throttle up as soon as you can with these race cars.
We know Jimmy Johnson's got a great race car, but we don't know if some of these other guys might have great race cars too, because they haven't been able to run these cars as hard as they really want to.
Brian Vickers, who was 14th in the points coming in, has taken his car to the garage. We'll update you in just a moment when we come back to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Let's check out our All-State good hands move of the race. Kyle Busch has been very good this year, but he's been very lucky today. He dodges the incident between the 2 and the 29. And here, Juan Pablo Montoya erupts a tire, and he dodges that. Then as the competition yellow is about to come out, he has a right rear tire going down. And the caution comes out and he is okay. On behalf of Kyle Busch, Allstate will donate $1,000 to the Urban Youth Racing School as he is our Good Hands Move of the Race Award winner. Halfway next time by, lap 80. Thankfully, lap 80 of 160. After all the issues we have had thus far, we have had 5 cautions for 24 laps. There have been 13 lead changes among 8 different drivers.
I believe Jimmy Johnson just brushed the wall coming off the corner. Going down the backstretch. Now he has scraped the wall just a little bit right there.
Just on the bottom of the Lowe's area, Lowe's insignia.
He slowed down about a half a second there. Dale and I were just watching these times. He slowed down quite a bit. Jeff Gordon is now catching him pretty good. Man, he hit it. He just barely hit it.
Yeah.
Watching from Jeff Gordon's in-car. We can see if he leaves a mark on the wall. Just a little one.
Yeah, I don't think there's any damage to worry about there, but I think it does show that his car is susceptible to these tires and the tires going away and the handling going away a little bit. So even though he's still got the lead, he has slowed down more.
Martin Truex in the 1 car on pit road.
What you're seeing, these guys know when these cautions are coming out. If they're close enough to these leaders, they're going to short pit under green and get these tires changed, get back out there, maybe steal some track position.
Truex is running in the 8th position on and off pit road. Leader Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon in pursuit, left side of your screen.
I'm surprised more guys haven't tried this, Dale.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a gamble, but that's what this next half of this race is going to be about. And we see every lap is a gamble with these tires right now. So they're going to try some different strategies to try to get their driver and their team up front. It doesn't look like the handling has really gone away. Jimmy Johnson, he's actually running faster that lap than what Jeff Gordon did by almost 0.2 of a second. So that could have possibly just been one corner that he slipped up. Right here we see the 11 car, Denny Hamlin in 3rd spot, and he's been charging towards the front all day long. He started back in 23rd. Looks like he has the best Toyota right now, and he's just steadily made his way to the front. His crew chief, Mike Ford, knows how to win this race. He did it with Bill Elliott a few years ago.
Denny Hamlin a year ago started 10th, got a pit road speeding violation, put him all the way back to 42nd, and he drove all the way back through the field on lap 127 and ran him out of gas, and he ended up coming back.
Caution's out.
And finishing 22nd, so he had an abysmal 2007, making up for it here in 2008. Competition yellow, number 5.
We saw the 1 car just go under the caution flag, still on the lead lap, so he's going to be able to stay out. And like you said, steal a little track position.
It's looking like things might be getting a little bit better. We really didn't see any issues there. You know, we won't get too optimistic here, but we are seeing things get just a little bit better, Andy.
You got to assume that it's going to get better at some point. I mean, we've never seen it go all the way through a race and not this situation not improve. So it may be improving here.
Yeah, it may be improving, but you can tell by the look on Chad Canal's face there that he's not convinced that everything's still okay. Probably a little concerned about that, what did happen with his car, but he saw it come back and run a few good laps there before that caution came out.
Jason
left not up there on that pit box.
Yeah. Jason Leffler, by the way, got the free pass, the 70 car. That will put 35 cars on the lead lap. Robbie Gordon a lap down. Brian Vickers in the garage area, by the way. So is Juan Pablo Montoya.
We're going to keep a lot of cars on the lead lap having a caution every 10 laps. Not really an opportunity for anybody to go down a lap unless they have a problem.
That's the only way anybody's gotten down a lap today. Nobody's really been passed on the racetrack because we haven't run long enough.
Yeah, these guys may need oxygen before the day's out. They're going to keep coming in every 7 to 10 to 12 laps, so they're going to wear these guys on pit road out.
Well, we've seen the 48 get 4 tires every time, and I don't think that strategy is going to change here. I think 24 has been doing that. The 11 it seems like he's been doing that most of the time. So we've seen some of these other guys opt for 2 tires a number of times. Elliott Sadler and A.J. Allmendinger. I would think now it's pretty much time to put 4 tires back on that if you're those guys, Andy.
It's been working too good for the 48 and the 24. These guys have been able to just get 4 tires and move their way. If they lose a little track position and get it right back. These other guys, on the other hand, do have to roll the dice.
Allmendinger and Sadler, though, have been hanging 4th and 5th with just 2 tires. Let's head down to Shannon.
Yeah, Doc, Jeff Burton, 4 tires for this 31 car. That's what they're opting to go for on this pit stop. He's getting a little snug, so they're just going to make a slight air pressure adjustment for Jeff Burton, currently running in the top 10. Mike.
Well, Shannon, after this pit stop, Jeff Gordon's team will be left with only 3 sets remaining. They'll take 4 tires and a load of Sunoco race fuel. Jamie?
Elliott Sadler's team told him he's faster than the 48 of Jimmy Johnson on the long runs. They're going to take 4 tires only for the second time today. Dave?
Bottom of your screen, Jimmy Johnson, 4-tire change, wedge adjustment this time, really loose at the end of that run. They finish up and he leaves pit road.
Nearly contact there with the 20 car. Tony Stewart and Casey Kane. Edwards opting for short tires, 2 tires. Biffle likewise. McMurray. Tony Stewart up 9 positions there. You see some of the guys that took 4 tires down toward the bottom of the top 10 coming off.
See that tire there, still worn all the way to the cord, so it's still not getting a lot better.
Again, that is Jeff Burton, and you heard a little bit ago the crew chief saying over there, Scott Miller, that they were looking better and better.
You can see that right rear tire of Jimmy Johnson's. It's in the cord. There's Gordon's tire in the cord. Even the right front's got a little bit of cords on the edge.
5th time today they have come on the pit road for a competition yellow. There's Richard Childress, the owner, looking at the tires. He's concerned. Back in a moment.
We're halfway through the Allstate 400 at the Brickyard on a beautiful Sunday afternoon in Indianapolis, but it has not turned out to be a beautiful day on the racetrack thus far. Troubles keeping tires on this race car on this very difficult track have led to 6 cautions already in the first half of this race. To put it politely, it's been a struggle. Let's go upstairs to the broadcast booth and Doc Punch.
Thank you, Alan. And NASCAR President Mike Helton has moved over to talk to us. And Mike, frustrating, I know, for the teams and for the drivers. I know frustrating for you guys. What can you do right now?
Well, the biggest thing all day today is to keep it as safe as we can on the racetrack and evenly balanced as we can for all the competitors up and down pit road. And that's why we've had these competition cautions, more of them than we intended to have, thinking that this tire would rubber up sooner or later and the length between the wear out parts would get longer. But for whatever reason, it hasn't done that today. So we'll just keep managing it. We've got plenty of tires. We've got tires that they shipped it from Pocono to here last night to be sure that we could get all 160 laps of this event in. So we'll keep managing this. They talk up and down pit road of the wear getting a little bit better, but certainly 70 some or 80 some laps now into this race. In the past, when we've had similar situations, it's got a lot better by this point.
Mike, could this have been avoided? I know you had some tire testing and you guys were looking at tires and you brought Goodyear thought they brought a good tire here. How could we have avoided maybe this happening?
Well, I don't know. It's a good question, but the track, to our knowledge, has not ground any other areas that we didn't see last year. The compound of this tire is not much different than the compound last year. Goodyear did come in April, and they tested with this car to pick the tire for this event. The temperatures aren't that awful. We have been up here and it's been pretty warm, but so I don't know. There's a lot of unanswered questions, but the effort today is to keep the race safe and to get it accomplished in the best manner possible. And certainly this isn't the way we wanted to do it, but we'll stay on top of it to be sure we can do it the best we can.
Hey, Mike, is there a point in the race that you'll actually put it in the crew's hands and not throw these competition yellows, or are you going to do it all the way to the end?
That's what we would prefer to do, and the sooner the better. But as long as we see the wear being what it is, then we'll keep doing it this way.
Okay, thank you.
We go back to green flag here, Mike. One other question. If we have to get to that Pocono tire, does that create any problems for next week's race at Pocono and not having enough?
No, I think the Bristol tire is the same as the Pocono tire, so that they can if we have to get into that, they can shift the Bristol tire to Pocono and then build more for Bristol by the time we get there.
Okay. Mike, we appreciate you coming over to talk with us. We know we're back to green flag racing. You got to get back over in the NASCAR tower, but thanks for coming over and explaining what's going on.
Okay, guys, thanks.
Mike Helton, president of NASCAR, and a moment ago, by the way, he told us in break that if they do go to the Pocono tire, they will bring everybody on pit road, and every team will have to go to the same tire, and they will check those tire codes as they leave pit road to make sure they're all on the same tires.
How about this one car? He did that little short pit deal and got the lead. Worked out just like they planned.
Yeah, we'll see exactly how long he can stay there as we see Carl Evans trying to make a move right now. Carl came in, got 2 tires that time. We saw 3 Roush cars get 2 tires that time and get back towards the front. One of those being Jamie McMurray, who's right there in 3rd spot. So it'll be interesting to see how that works for these guys.
He gets past as Edwards goes by, but the interim crew chief, Mike Ricci, making the call for the 1 car of Martin Truex.
Man, look at Jimmy Johnson. He just jammed all the way up underneath that 26 car.
Yeah, now he's going to pull out and pass him as he's got some help from his teammate Jeff Gordon. Looks like both of them are going to go by Jamie McMurray right here. These guys have 4 tires on, and I think that's, as you said a number of times, Andy, that's going to be a huge advantage for these guys. They have that luxury because they have extremely fast race cars. Mike?
Well, patience has been the key word over the radio between Steve Letarte and Jeff Gordon, preaching conservatism. And that seems to have been the approach just on that last pit stop.
Victory said that was good. I know them guys are taking 2, but I'm not doing it. Our tires are looking better, but I'll look good enough yet. I'll take 2 when I have to. When the race is on the line, tell them.
It certainly appears the 24 is sticking to their game plan. Steve Letarte told me this morning this race will be decided in the final 30 laps. But in order to win, you've got to be there, and that seems to be the approach they've taken all afternoon long, guys.
Mike, remember Steve Letarte told Jeff Gordon we just have to outlast him, and they're looking toward those final laps here at Indianapolis, not having troubles.
Here comes Tony Stewart. Saw him make a move down the backstretch around Martin Truex.
Yeah, what a surprise. Tony Stewart suddenly becomes a factor at this racetrack, which is absolutely his all-time favorite.
He struggled a little bit in practice, quite a bit actually, but he's got that car right. Him and Zippy have got this thing dialed in now at this halfway point.
Yeah, I think we could tell in his voice at the beginning of this race when we were asking him about his chances, he wasn't exactly sure about what his car was going to do, but it looks like they've got it pretty well dialed in now, and he's starting to make his way back towards the front.
Dave?
Guys, on that last stop, Tony took on 2 right side tires only. Their left side wear has been very good according to the crew. He was just a little bit loose, so they made a wedge adjustment in that car. And Tony told me this morning, right before introductions, we've had pretty good tire wear. We've never gotten down to the cords. Now, they have a little bit today, but good tire wear, good balance, good setup on that 20 car.
That can pay off big time if he can go just a lap more than these other guys. That could actually pay off big time for Tony.
Yeah, if he looks in his mirror, though, he sees another fast Toyota coming, and that's his teammate, Denny Hamlin, who's been extremely good. They took 4 tires that last time, as did Elliott Sadler, who is right behind the 11 car.
Yeah, this is 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th in line there with Stewart, Hamlin, and Elliott Sadler. Behind Sadler is the 6th car of David Reagan. Bobby Labonte, the 43 car, by the way, having a good run for the King Richard Petty. And there's the 88 car. Dale Earnhardt Jr., folks, who just joined our coverage, he lost a lap on lap 26 for an unscheduled stop because of a tire issue. And now he's back on the lead lap.
But it's made it more difficult because we have all of these cars on the lead lap. Even getting that lap back, he was still back in about 35th spot, and now he's made his way up to 20th.
That's a long, hard road at this racetrack trying to come up from 35th. But Dale Jr. doing a great job. He's got a fast race car. Here's Jimmy Johnson now going under Carl Edwards for the lead.
And we'll see if Jeff Gordon will follow him by. No, Jeff cannot get by. As Edwards pulls up, here comes Jeff Gordon's turn to go by. They come off of the turn.
Well, these have been the 2 strongest cars all day long, and Carl Edwards looked like at a number of times today that he's had the 1 car that could keep up with these guys. And we'll see right here. He's at a disadvantage, I think, with just those 2 tires, though.
We still haven't heard from NASCAR when the next competition yellow will be. You know, ask Mike Helton if they would ever put it in the crew's hands now and just say, okay, guys, you know what you've got. You've got to finish the race now and manage your own tires. We haven't seen them do that yet. Mike says if they don't see it get much better, they'll probably keep throwing.
Yeah, as optimistic as they want to be and as much as they want to let this race go on, they still can only advance this by 2 or 3 laps at the most right now until we see much better results.
Now we are being told it will be lap 97.
It's about 6 laps from right now.
That would mean they would have gone 15 laps from the previous yellow, or since the restart, they would have gone 10 laps under green. Jimmy Johnson, the leader. Jeff Gordon, his teammate in second. Edwards, McMurray, and Hamlin, the top 5. Next week, we head to the Tricky Triangle, Pocono Raceway, in the beautiful Pocono Mountains of eastern Pennsylvania. Jeff Gordon leads all drivers with 4 wins at Pocono. Remember what happened to Kyle Busch at Pocono back in June? He came there as the points leader and finished dead last, 43rd. There will be just 6 races remaining in the race to the chase. Join us as our coverage begins from Pocono on ESPN next Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, beginning with NASCAR Countdown. Jimmy Johnson, the leader, Jeff Gordon, Carl Edwards. How about Jamie McMurray has driven his car from the back of the field all the way to run a solid 4th for the Roush Fenway team. And Denny Hamlin, the lone Toyota in the top 5. Dave.
You know, Jerry, leader Jimmy Johnson restarted behind a couple of cars that had taken on only 2 fresh tires. So this conversation ensued between him and crew chief Chad Knaus.
Faster start than what we've been doing. You want me just to let these guys go? I really think if we get up front, we'll be better off, Jimmy.
That tells me a couple things, including when that car gets out front and runs fast, they've been happy enough with the tire wear to let him do that. Actually, that's the main thing it tells me, guys.
Yeah, that's been the smart thing, Dave, and he just has such a good car.
I had to chuckle. He said, Jack and I said, if we can get out front. He hadn't had much problem doing that all day long. And right now, he's setting a pretty torrid pace. This is the fastest that we've seen him run at this point in a run.
Yeah, what race is Chad Knaus watching? His guy is out front. We told you the 88 car had been off the lead lap, and now back on the lead lap. He was 20th 4 laps ago, folks. He is moving up. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is 13th, the best he has been since lap 15 of this race.
You know, we saw him early on whenever he got that lap down that he could still run with the leaders. I don't know how much he has for Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon, his teammates, but it'd be interesting if he keeps moving up, Andy.
I think he's got a lot for these guys because he was out there on tires that were older than Jimmy's and able to hold the lead. And that's about the only car we've seen that's been able to do that. Dave?
Andy took on 4 fresh ones last time, and this morning his crew chief, Tony Uniger, told me, I hope the fans enjoy these heat races we're going to run all day. Heat races, short races. I said, there's no way you're even going to set up for a longer run. He said, we can't. We know we can't get there on tires, so we've got a short run set up on this car. Plan on running it all day long. Maybe at the last one, they're running up front, guys, they can win that heat race.
Hey, Dave, you should have told us about that earlier. I've been disappointed that we couldn't run much, and these are heat races. I look at it a totally different way, but that's a pretty good way to look at it. We see Bobby Labonte on pit road here.
Yeah, I saw cords on the right front tire on this 43. The pits are closed right now. They're starting to close the pit area a couple of laps before these competition yellows to keep these guys from pulling these little strategy plays because everybody will start doing that.
Andy, that's really the first time we've seen the right front be an issue. We've seen more of the right rears on most of these race cars, but maybe they tightened theirs up, and that's what's got the right front coming apart now.
Bobby Labonte was in 9th position. Watch him come in. There's the red light blinking.
Oh, that's a tough break because Bobby didn't have a choice. He had to get on pit road here.
The yellow out now for
and he's also
competition yellow, and now they're gonna get him for speeding.
He's also speeding coming in.
And that's probably one of those situations, just like we heard these drivers tell us, that it happens all of a sudden. He probably felt that going in and coming off a turn 4, knew he had to get to pit road because it might not make it back around. So he's going to suffer the consequences and take that over that right front coming apart and blowing off the right front fender.
Competition yellow, number 6 on the day here on lap 98. 62 laps away from the checkered flag. Do we have enough tires? Is it going to get better? These guys are going to come back on. There's the Elliott Sadler team that took 2 last time. Aerial coverage from high above Indianapolis, brought to you by Goodyear. For track-tested technology, get there on Goodyear Innovation.
But we're going to have enough tires. It's just a matter of what kind they are. I don't know if it's the ones they brought here for this racetrack, but you know, we're going to run out of these before this is going to get better. It's just that obviously it's not going to happen today. So that's going to be another scenario that's going to be interesting is when we get to that Pocono tire, how different is that going to be for these drivers with their cars?
That's the problem. This might change something. You see Jimmy Johnson's had the best car. Put that Pocono tire on there, it might change his car and maybe help somebody else's car. So this thing could change when they do that.
Last night, NASCAR brought in 800 tires total. That's in the Pocono Reserve. That's 200 sets of tires, enough for 4 sets for each team. But they told us in a release this morning that these are softer compound tires. They're softer than the tire that they have here right now.
NASCAR's called this a quickie yellow, and that enables everybody to pit. Even the lap down cars can come in this time. That gets everybody on and off pit road very quick. Shannon?
Yeah, on that last pit stop, team owner Richard Childers of the 31 came down and looked at the tires and said that was the worst he's seen, but this team is going to take 2 right sides right now and fuel. No changes for Jeff Burton. Mike?
Throughout the afternoon, the worst wear has been on the right rear for Jeff Gordon. It has gotten marginally, but only marginally better as the race has worn on. They'll take 4 tires and fuel. Jamie?
Elliott Sadler said he's too free off. He said he thinks they were too low on that right side pressure, maybe too much camber. They made a round of wedge and right sides only. Dave?
If you're watching the bottom of the screen, they're still working on that great race car. Wedge adjustment, this time a little bit tight going into the corner.
Again, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. 4 more tires for Jimmy Johnson in the 48 car, and you see he's going to lose some spots there.
Jeff Gordon
Minus 3
loses
spots.
Jeff Gordon lost 7 spots on pit road right there.
Ryan Newman up 10 positions, trying to get a win for Roger Penske here. Elliott Sadler, the leader, under caution for the 7th time today.
We are 2/3 of the way through the Allstate 400 at the Brickyard. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway, bathed in beautiful sunlight, but also bathed in tire dust. What a day it has been. Dale Earnhardt Jr. leading earlier in the race, then at lap 24 had a tire go down. Juan Pablo Montoya, bang, tire goes down. This is today's monster moment. Matt Kenseth, tire, right rear, took out the whole right side of his car just about. One of the drivers in that chase for the Sprint Cup Championship. It's been all about right tires today, right rear tires really badly. And look at all that dust up top. For more monster moments, check out NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile. I bet those fans sitting out there in turn 3 didn't know they were going to a dirt track race today. I think they've all got the
oh yeah,
like you get when you go to dirt track. So Rusty, we're 2/3 of the way through the race. These guys are seeing what's happening. They continue to put the cautions out and cautions out. Now we're getting to the point where some of these teams that have been conservative, they're going to have to start thinking about getting a little more aggressive because that finish is drawing closer, aren't they?
Well, they're going to have to start picking it up a little bit, Alan. There's no doubt about that. But they really don't know how hard they can pick it up. In fact, I've been watching all the lap times, and they're all over the place. Nobody's really consistent. You know, sooner or later, we're going to run out of these Indianapolis tires and have to go to the Pocono tire. And, Brad, I got to tell you, I'm really interested to see how that tire is going to run. Because I think at this point, we just got to try something to see if it gets better.
Well, it's going to be really interesting, Rusty, because we've got maybe 3 sets of tires left, and we've got 60 laps. So we're looking at probably 4 more opportunities to stop for cautions. So we may only get to run those Pocono tires one time. It's going to be interesting just to see what happens.
You know, one thing I'm seeing though, the 48 car, Jimmy Johnson, he comes in every time and puts on 4 tires, comes out about 4th or 5th, and within 3 or 4 laps, he's leading this race again. So 4 tires from that team seems to be working real well. I don't believe I'd be trying 2 tires because if you just put sticker right sides on, it just works the right sides that much harder. I need the left sides to help the right sides, and that's what I do.
And yes, while today is about trying to win Indianapolis, it is still one of those races in that race to the chase, the NASCAR Sprint Cup Championship standings as they run with some of the guys that have had problems like Kevin Harvick and Matt Kenseth. Clint Boyer was out of the championship starting today. He's in, but it is still awfully close. Let's see if we can touch base with our in-race reporter, DJ.
Hey, Smoke, Dale Jarrett, you got me?
Yeah, man, go ahead.
Hey, buddy, I know you tried 2 tires that last time. How did that work for you, and how frustrating is this for you?
Yeah, it's not an ideal day by any means, but I mean we're the 2 tires got us in track position. We lost a couple spots there, but it just seems to be the seesaw of who's taking 2 and who's taking 4, and it kind of jumbles and rotates back and forth with the cycles, the pit stops. But I mean, obviously I don't think any of us think this is a perfect scenario to be in, but I think we're all making the best of it.
Do you have any concern as far as if we have to go to this Pocono tires to what that may do to your race car then?
Well, I mean, as you know, I mean, if we have to go to them, you don't know how it's going to change the balance of your car. But, that's the bad part about it. I guess the only comforting part is we're all in the same boat here. But, the important part is making sure that we aren't going through the cords of all these tires. And, if that's what we have to do, that's what we'll all do here. But, I think NASCAR's doing a really good job today here of you're really making the best of a not so perfect situation today.
All right, man. Be safe and keep battling.
Thanks, bud.
Hey, Greg Zippadelli, Andy Petrie, you got us?
Gotcha.
Hey, Zippy, how many sets of tires do you have left down there?
Can't tell you that. I'd have to kill you. They're worth gold right now.
Yeah, I just wondered because we are going to go to that Pocono tire at some point, and I just wonder how that's going to change these cars. We heard Dale ask Tony, but do you have any idea really how this is going to change if we put those Pocono tires on, how it will change the balance?
I mean, it's going to be a lot faster, and I'm hoping that when we put that Pocono tire on, it's next week at Pocono. I think if they keep doing what we're doing here, it's going to be really close, but I think we'll make it on this tire as long as we don't have any major catastrophes. We keep doing 11, 12 laps here like we are.
Okay, Greg, thanks a lot for talking to us. Good luck.
Folks, you can do the math. There are 58 laps to go, and many of these teams have 4 sets left. It could be very close, and if we do put the Pocono tire on, it could be with less than 10 laps to go, which could make it very, very interesting as a roll of the dice here. Well, we have had rain affect the races here, but we've never had a race rubbered out before at Indianapolis, as they are sweeping the track to try to get some of that rubber dust off the upper grooves. There is Elliott Sadler, the 19 car. He has been at or near the front most of the afternoon, and Elliott Sadler being shown as our leader here on lap 102 at Indy.
I have a feeling there'll be a lot to talk about after the race tonight, and we got an hour show to do it. NASCAR Now, ESPN2, 10 o'clock Eastern Time, all the post-race follow-up on this Indianapolis event. Then tomorrow, our roundtable panel breaks it all down. Got Brad, got Ray Evernham, Mike Massaro, and myself up at World Headquarters. That's 5 Eastern Time. Qualifying from Pocono next Friday, the Nationwide Series race from Montreal next Saturday, and of course the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series event at Pocono next Sunday. All that coming up on ESPN throughout this next 7 days. So 56 laps to go here at the Allstate 400 at the Brickyard. That's not a pretty stat. Most consecutive green flag laps today, 12. Not pretty. Now, all we've talked about today are tires and the tire issue. But bottom line remains, somebody's got a chance to kiss those bricks and win a trophy at Indy today. When does that start to creep into the helmet, and has it ever left the helmet?
I don't think it's left the helmet, but I think it's got to happen with like 20 to go, Alan. I really do. I believe these guys are going to have to stand on it. And when that happens, it's going to give me kind of the green-white checkered feel, like a restart at a speedway like Daytona or Talladega, because they're going to go for it. They got to get real nervy and hope they can get that tire wear.
Yeah, after we started with the first set of caution flags, I think most of these crew chiefs chewed their fingernails down to the nubs trying to figure out how they can out-strategize the guy next door in order to win that coveted trophy here at the Brickyard.
Well, Doc, Jerry, and Andy, it'd be interesting to see who's got what tires left and how this all does play out here in these final 56 laps.
Yeah, Alan, I heard Rusty saying that the driver's only working on 20 laps. The crew chief's got to start figuring out a lot earlier than that.
Remember, the driver said if there is a place you're going to roll the dice and risk it all, this is the place you will do it. As we get set for the restart, you see Rick Hendrick there talking to Chad Knaus. Let's listen into the spotters as we go full throttle.
Hey, squad's off. Be ready.
Blowing up. That 83 blew up just down the bottom. Keep digging. Still green. I don't know if they're going to throw it up this deep.
Caution out the 83 car. And smoke billowing from the Brian Vickers Toyota. Remember, he had the engine issues earlier and came on the pit road and back to the garage area, and he was the one that won the AT&T Crew Chief Challenge about making it in the chase. This will not help his chances at all.
This will definitely hurt. He was on pit road. They were looking to see if they could find the problem. They won't have to look very far now. They'll be able to find it pretty easily.
Now, if they just find that little trail right there out from underneath his race car, we'll see. And Brian did a really good thing right there. He stayed up there in the groove. Nobody's going to be up there unless they're already in trouble anyway. And you can see the oil that's come out of the bottom of that engine.
And then just stop, and you don't have to worry about dragging it all the way around the racetrack. Good move.
From Kevin Harvick's onboard camera, watch as the 83 engine issues take place. Oh, my goodness.
Hello? See all the oil going on the camera.
Hello.
On the restart a moment ago, Jeff Burton in the 31 car.
Yep.
There were...
Oh, that's not good.
Birds on the racetrack, and not a good situation. But Jeff Burton down there making the pass, and they picked a bad spot to rest.
Somebody forgot to tell those birds we were going green.
You know, normally that could do some damage to the front of these, but these cars are so much tougher in the front that I don't think it did much damage. I don't think that was big enough.
You can hit a buffalo with these things and it wouldn't bend them, I don't think.
I think it did some damage to that bird.
54 laps to go under caution for the 8th time. Jeff Burton is being shown as the leader for the first time today.
Elliott Sadler did not get a very good restart there, and he tried to block Jeff Burton.
Yeah.
But he was too far inside.
Yeah, he just didn't get up to speed, and Jeff got a really good jump, and that allowed him to get the inside. And then the 3 cars right behind Elliott all kind of freight trained him to send him back to 4th spot. He just got 2 tires. I'm sure he was trying to be easy, make sure that he didn't spin the tires on that restart, and was probably just a little bit too easy there and cost him. But Jeff Burton, we talked about him earlier. He qualified way back there, but that's not anything that's unusual for him. He's used to working his way up through. They've used great strategy and a good race car and got themselves right up to the front. Shannon?
Yeah, here with Richard Childress, team owner. You told me you have never seen anything like this on the track. What do you think NASCAR should do at this point to make this racing better?
Well, this isn't Goodyear's fault. It's all the circumstance built around it. It's probably get it down with about 6 to go where we can put tires on it, and that way you can just go as hard as you want to. The harder you run, the more your tires wear.
All right, 6-lap shootout for Richard Childress, guys.
And Shannon, we'll talk to Rick Hendrick, who owns the 48 team, who's been very strong today, also the 24. You've got a good race car, but a tire that's given up on it. Are you happy with what's being done so far, Rick?
Yeah, you know, NASCAR doesn't have any choice, and you know, we went through this last year, but usually we get enough rubber down, it's okay. It's different cars, so you know, Goodyear's doing the best they can, and I applaud NASCAR for keeping it safe. We'd love to race. We got awful good cars, 3 good awful good cars out there, and you know, we just would like to see it be able to run a lot of green laps, but they're doing the right thing, and we'll just kind of wait here. I think it's getting better, maybe just a couple of laps every time, so hopefully here in a little bit we can get a good run.
All right, thank you, Rick. Let's go to Mike.
And catching up with Coach Gibbs. Coach, are you seeing dollar signs every time they make a pit stop?
No, actually, I think what happened today, everybody's working as hard as they can, everybody. We're all kind of working together. It's just a tough situation that we're trying to work through. I think NASCAR's done a great job. Goodyear, all of us trying to work together to make the most out of today. And I feel everybody's on the same page, working hard. So it's just one of those things you got to work through, and it's a tough day for us. And I think the fans probably understand that too.
And he makes a real good point, Jamie. Everybody's dealing with the same thing.
And that would be Ray Evernham as well, owner of Elliott Sadler's number 19 machine, who was leading just before that last caution. He's back to 4th now. Ray, what are we going to see? We've talked to a lot of the owners about what we've already seen. What do you expect the second half of this race?
I really think that you're not going to see how fast everybody can go till it's probably going to be a last 12, 15 lap shootout at the most. Right now, everybody's just trying to conserve their tires. It seems to be an 11 or 12 lap cycle. I think the Hendrick cars are pretty strong. They're just keeping the reins in on them until it's time to go.
All right, Doc, well, Elliott Sadler has 4 sets left. They still are saying they'll be good to the end.
53 laps to go, and as you heard the owner say, trying to make the best of a bad situation. Points are very important, and of course, coming in today, Kevin Harvick involved in a wreck early on. He was a victim of the spin by Kurt Busch, Matt Kenseth. A tire just coming apart in the right rear, went back in the garage area, made lots of repairs, and they have dropped down Harvick out of the top 12. Clint Boyer, Harvick's teammate, was out of the top 12, has now moved up into the top 12 by virtue of staying on the track. We'll be back with more from Andy in just a moment.
It started as a Dale Jarrett thing. I think he's the one that kind of brought it out, and you go out there on the front straightaway, you all bend down and kiss the bricks.
Yeah, they're gritty, and there's rubber and dirt and sand and everything else, and you don't care one bit, man. You're just all over it.
It's not sweet tasting, doesn't taste like candy, but it sure seems like it when you're kissing them. It's the best cold kiss you'll ever get.
I just want to cross them first. That's all I want to do. If you want me to kiss them, I'll kiss them, but by God, I want to go across there first.
That's what everyone wants to do, is kiss that coveted yard of bricks, and they may taste a little more like rubber today than in years past, but who cares? If you can win it and kiss the bricks, it's a pretty good omen for what might happen to you the remainder of the year, because 6 of the last 9 winners here of the Brickyard 400 have gone on to become the NASCAR Sprint Cup champion. The last one to do it, Jimmy Johnson, back in 2006. Jeff Burton, our leader, out front for the first time today. 51 laps to go here. We are under caution for the 8th time here this afternoon at Indianapolis. Back with more in a moment.
Tonight it is ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell from Fenway Park. Game 3 of the series between the Red Sox and Yankees. The Yankees have taken the first 2. They trail the Sox by 1 game in the American League East as both teams continue to chase the Tampa Bay Rays. John Lester and Sidney Ponson tonight on Sunday Night Baseball from Fenway at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Well, maybe a little Sunday afternoon baseball out here on the golf course on the infield at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You can hit a 9-iron, you can hit a 32-ounce bat. Take your choice. Maybe that's a wiffle ball. There you go. Very nice way to pass. And that, look, 24. Kid's got a Red Sox jersey on. There you go. It's everywhere, I'm telling you. 1 lap to go before we go back racing. And I'm looking at the way the race has unfolded so far, Rusty and Brad. Jimmy Johnson's kind of been the dominant guy. Jeff Gordon's been right there with him. Can anything stop those 2 guys from being the winner?
I think it's going to be very, very difficult to beat those 2. Like we said earlier in the pre-race show, these 2 are the guys to beat. But as you look throughout that top 10, there's some characters lurking there, in particular that 10th place car in Kyle Busch that has a great chance to win another race.
Brad, you're exactly right. But Jimmy Johnson's at 3rd right now. We know he can get up to the front and get the lead. But, you know, Jeff Gordon's back at 9th right now. He's got himself back a little bit. He's got Carl Edwards, Newman, Reagan, Biffles, guys like that in front of him that are awful fast, too. So it's going to be interesting to see. But I do know one thing. Those last 10 laps are going to be barn burner.
Well, remember,
they're going to be on it.
Well, we know. And they got a pit between now and then, so things can change.
Yeah, pit crew's still got to get the job done, too. Just sit here and wonder, as strong as Johnson and Gordon have been, how hard the other guys have been running. We hear people talking about running just hard enough to stay in contact. Doc, DJ, and Andy, I just don't know.
That's what the crew chiefs are saying, too, Alan. We just don't know. You know, aerial coverage from high above this racetrack brought us to you by the good friends at Goodyear for track-tested technology. Get there on Goodyear Innovation. There'll be 49 laps to go. And the question is, how many sets of tires do they have? And will he have to use 1 or 2 sets of tires that they brought in from Pocono? Jeff Burton, who won early in the year at Bristol, Tennessee, is the leader. He has never won here at the Brickyard 400. And how about A.J. Allmendinger, the 26-year-old California driver, former open-wheel driver? His best run of the year came at Pocono, another track with long straightaways and tight turns. He's holding a very good, pretty wheel, as Rusty Wallace would always say, in 2nd spot.
Jimmy L's done a great job with this team. Turning around pretty good. Got him up in 2nd spot in one of the biggest races of the year.
Back to green again. Now, they ran less than a lap last time under green flag conditions until we had the blown engine of Brian Vickers, so they really don't have any laps on the tires as we go back to green.
There are 36 cars on the lead lap. As they flash by, you saw Allmendinger thinking about making a move. He knows if he doesn't make one, Jimmy Johnson's going to make one on him.
121.
Jeff Gordon moved to the inside of Carl Edwards. Top of your screen. Front 3 still single file through the north end of the racetrack. And Jimmy Johnson on cue makes the move to take the 2nd spot away.
He's making this thing look easy, Dale.
Yeah, he has the best car here right now, and he obviously an excellent race driver. We see Elliott Sadler try to make a move. Wow, they're going 3 wide into turn. Down
like Allmendinger's here. He's on the inside of Jimmy Johnson going into 1.
A.J. Allmendinger takes a spot back, says, Jimmy, I made it too easy for you. I want you to try it again.
He made it look easy, but then Allmendinger says, hey, hang on a minute.
Yeah, sometimes you go diving off into that corner, and then you can't get back to the gas quite as quick, and A.J. backed out early to let Jimmy go and was able to get that run, so he got him back to 2nd. I don't think that'll last very long here. Jimmy's not very happy about that because he had his sights set on going to the front right then. So we see Jeff Gordon and Carl Edwards down to the inside here trying to make their way towards the front.
Trying to get into 5th position, Gordon slides by Greg Biffle, as does Carl Edwards, to take the 5th spot away.
So Jimmy Johnson has gone back into 2nd now as Elliott Sadler tries to take his Dodge into the 3rd spot. Will make that pass.
Allmendinger's car slips up about a half a group. Jamie McMurray, also one of the good cars early on. He's leading a parade back there with Denny Hamlin. Here goes Gordon trying to get by Allmendinger to take the spot.
Rusty was just talking about Jeff being back in 9th, and I was sitting here agreeing with him that might be difficult for him to make up that time. I think this shows just how important 4 tires are right now, and he's making his way back towards the front, and how good a race car he has. We might start seeing just how good his car is, Andy.
Yeah, but how about Jeff Burton? He's leading the race right now, and he's held that lead pretty good. over Jimmy Johnson. Last lap, he was just a little bit quicker. I know Jimmy was dicing in traffic. And look at Stewart here, making it 3 wide under Mark Martin.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. likewise pulls in and right in front of the 16 car and takes a spot away. Jr. now in 11th position. Tony Stewart, you heard Andy Peeker mention, back in 14th spot. Both those guys coming toward the front.
Yeah, we see these guys getting a little more racy now. You know, even though they know the tire situation is still there, they know that it's time to be making some ground. They can't be giving up any spots here on the racetrack right now.
I'm not sure we've seen everybody show their hand. We know Jimmy Johnson showed his hand every restart here. Here he goes now under Jeff Burton. Man, that car looks good.
That thing just turns on a dime, and Jimmy can handle it a little bit sideways. This is just a fast race car. That's fun to have here. Shannon?
Yeah, that 31 car of Jeff Burton as he just got passed by Jimmy Johnson, but that car's really good. They've made small changes to that car all day long, with the exception, of course, of the tire issue. He is in good shape. Now, they took right sides on that last pit stop. Now, one thing to keep in mind is the fact that now that Earnhardt is running in the back of the pack, 11th right now, Jeff Burton has moved back into second in the point standing. So good run for Jeff Burton today.
Jeff Burton ought to watch the mirror, though, a little bit, Shannon, because Earnhardt Jr. is also coming in a hurry because he's one of those Hendrick cars that he's chasing. He's chasing Jimmy Johnson, and Jeff Gordon is going by him as now Burton is back in third, and Earnhardt Jr. pedaling toward the top 5. 44 laps to go at Indianapolis. Back in a moment. Welcome back to the Allstate 400 at the Brickyard. 42 laps to go. Jimmy Johnson is our leader. He has led 7 times for 56 laps. His teammate Jeff Gordon in second. Jeff Burton is third. Carl Edwards, the highest Ford so far, in 4th spot. Elliott Sadler been in the top 5 all afternoon, his Dodge. A.J. Allmendinger, the top Toyota, back in 6th position. While you're watching the race on the racetrack, they've been a little confrontational here behind pit road as some of these crews now trying to battle over some of the tires that are being released by teams who are no longer in the race.
There's just a lot of traffic back there, and this pit road is very narrow behind the pit wall. They've got a fence back there, and it's really just a single lane. These guys kind of just got together with their tire cards and had a little confrontation.
You see Carl Edwards here working on the back bumper of Jeff Burton right now. Carl seemed like he's had the car that might be the one car that could challenge Jimmy Johnson or Jeff Gordon as he's trying to get by Jeff Burton. Jeff knows that a caution flag's coming out here pretty shortly. He'd like to stay in that 3rd spot, so he's going to race Carl pretty hard.
Pit road is closed right now, anticipating this caution. Dave?
It's been an interesting afternoon for Carl. The car has been very fast, obviously, as he continues to work on Burton, but it's been having a little bit of a loose condition to it, and so that has been hurting the right rear tire, especially coming off the corner. That was the report last time when they took on 4 tires, still hurting the right rear, and that was a comment from Carl. He could feel it as he went through the run. Here he goes under Burton.
It looks like he has a really good car. He made a good run off of turn 2 and was able to get up beside of Burton and pass him going into turn 3.
Just before he caught Jeff Burton, he was actually catching Jimmy Johnson, the leader, by a couple of tenths a lap.
Remember yesterday in happy hour, Carl Edwards opted not to be able to leave early to go over to O'Reilly Raceway Park and run the NASCAR Nationwide Series car. He stayed to the final minutes of the final practice to work on this Cup car. Maybe paying off for him right now.
Definitely paying off for him right here. Last lap, he was 2 tenths faster than Jimmy Johnson. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s moved up to 10th spot.
Jimmy Johnson, the leader. Jeff Gordon now seeing a rear view mirror full of the 99 car of Carl Edwards.
Well, these drivers just kind of playing, they're blocking right here. Is this because they're anticipating this caution? They don't want to lose that spot, right?
I think that's exactly right, but there's not much Jeff can do about this because Carl Edwards' car is extremely fast right now, and he just drives underneath Jeff Gordon. Jeff would have liked to have held on to that before this caution came out, but didn't quite do it.
Caution number 9. Another competition yellow here with 39 laps to go.
It looks like Jeff Gordon has been testing that pass, making sure that Carl Edwards actually had that position before the yellow came out.
We might mention also, by the way, that NASCAR has released an extra set of right side tires to the teams just a moment ago, so they will have an extra set of right side tires on pit road to be able to play into the strategy that Steve Letarte here is talking about with his driver, Jeff Gordon.
Yeah, at this point in time, it looks like we're going to get through this race with using the Indy tire, the tire that was designed to come here. We're getting about 12 laps at a time run, and that should play out to where these teams have just enough tires to make it to the end. Now, that's providing we don't have a caution on that last segment in there to where they've run some laps and then some guys use some different strategies.
Tell you what, there's a lot of pressure on these crews right now. These guys have to make 2 or 3 more pit stops, and they're going to make the difference in this race because of that.
How much do you talk over what you do with your driver? We saw Steve Letarte talking to Jeff Gordon. How much do you let him be involved in that decision?
Oh, a lot in this decision because of the situation we're in. The driver really has all of the, he's holding all the cards. He can tell when that tire's getting ready to go. He knows what he needs as far as balance. I think you really have to talk to that driver.
Yeah, you do, but I think they've made their choice. They're looking at 4 tires here, and they're going to do that. The situation hasn't gotten good enough for them to really opt for another strategy at this point in time.
DJ, as a driver, would you be willing to roll the dice now in any way, shape, or form to go with 2, or would you absolutely demand 4 as you come on the pit road?
Yeah, if I were going to save that 2, I would save that for my last time. I think that's what I would do. Is you see all of these guys hitting pit road right now.
55. Shannon?
Guys, great points day for this 31 team so far. They are going to take 4 tires on this pit stop. Jeff Burton says it's just starting to get a little bit loose on him. Solid run for this 31 team. Mike.
Jeff Gordon in the hunt for a 5th Brickyard 400 win if he can complete this run today. The team goes to work on the right side, now swinging around to the left side. A 4-tire change on the 24, Jamie.
Hats off to David Reagan, the youngin' here for the second time. They're going to take 4 tires. His balance is good. He's been top 8 all day. Dave?
The leader brought everybody down pit road. He will take 4 tires on this stop. Slight air pressure adjustment. Car loose late in the run.
Race off of pit road. Hamlin gains 8 positions. And Jeff Gordon way down the line. Minus 4 spots. J.J. Yaley gaining 12 positions. Those guys opting to do some tire strategy, and these guys looking at the tires, and are they looking better, crew chief?
Nope. They look just exactly the way they've looked to me. Yeah. Anytime you see cords, they're not good.
Yeah.
They're
right rear tire the whole time. We heard Goodyear talk about that, and that's the tire that, and it's probably indicative of this race car most of the time that it abuses that right rear a little bit more, and that doesn't look any better. As a driver, I'm glad I can't see that.
No, they're not going to get any better now. This is what you got. They're only going to be able to run that many laps. It's pretty predictable now.
Speaking of unusual things, we have seen some unusual occurrences today, but how about this guy, Kevin Harvick? He is 15 laps down, and he's the lucky dog. He's the guy that he's the first car not on the lead lap, and behind him is Kenseth, who's 16 laps down, and he will get one of those laps back. Early on, lap number 14, the 2-car, Kurt Busch spins and collects Harvick, and they both slide and have damage into the outside concrete wall. Kevin Harvick came in the top 10 in points, and right now he is being shown hanging on the 12th position in the point standings. Harvick 37th, 14 laps behind.
Down to the final 35 laps. In the Allstate 400 at the Brickyard, Denny Hamlin leads Jimmy Johnson, Carl Edwards, Jeff Burton, and Kyle Busch. We figure at least a couple of more pit stops to go. Just a few minutes ago, we talked about who might get up there to challenge Johnson and Jeff Gordon for that top spot. Here he comes.
Tell you what, Carl Edwards, he's getting awful racy right now. I noticed that just the last time, Brad. He's really starting to stand on the throttle. He's taking some chances. He's driving that car harder. His lap times are getting faster and faster. I can actually feel the tension of these drivers like, hey, enough of this 2-tire, 4-tire stuff. I'm going to win this thing.
Yeah, I'm sure these guys are very anxious to get through this last 10 to 12 lap run so they can go ahead and sort this thing out and get ready for that last pit stop. That's going to be huge. And how about young David Reagan? He's having a great run all the way up to 6th position. Maybe he gets a shot at it.
Yeah, take a look at this dashboard, guys. There's just tire rubber all over the top of it. I mean, that's how much rubber buildup is getting inside of these cars. I tell you what, Alan, when these guys get out of these cars and take these helmets off, there's going to be some dark faces with a lot of rubber on their eyes, I'll tell you that.
I was laughing about that to myself earlier. Remember some of the old Indy 500 pictures when the guys ran with the open face helmets and they'd pull those bubble goggles off at the day and they'd just have the one circle around their eyes and everything else would be smudged in rubber? Doc, we may see something like that here in about half an hour.
It's like when you go to the beach and you come back and you got sand in places you didn't know you had places. I mean, that's what's happening with all this rubber ground down now. Some strategy playing out for these last 2 stops and a little bit of strategy for the Denny Hamlin team.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of 2-tire and 4-tire stops back and forth. We've seen the Hendrick cars mostly go for 4 tires, but Mike Ford opted here for 2 tires to get Denny Hamlin out front. I think what he'll do then is put 4 on the next time. We've got to make 2 more pit stops here. So he's going to get 4 the next time, and that'll set him up for 2 at the end to try to make that run to win this race, Andy.
And let's hope the pit crew's got enough gas in the tank to keep changing these tires, because these guys have to be worn out. I really think that fatigue on the pit crew is going to be an issue.
What would you do as a crew chief, Andy, right now?
Well, it depends on who I'm a crew chief for. If we're Denny Hamlin's, I really like what they're doing. But Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon have had such good race cars. I still think I'd keep 4 tires on that race car all day.
Let's go down to the tech center and Tim Brewer.
Andy, I couldn't agree with you more. The 4 best friends you got on this car right now today, these Goodyear Eagles. And anybody that's got 4 tires, if it's inside that 10-lap window, I believe they're going to have track advantage, and they're going to win the race with those 4 tires.
Tim, I totally agree. You wouldn't get any argument from us up here. Denny Hamlin, on the other hand, is going to lead him down to the green flag, and he only has 2 tires. But as Dale Jarrett said, the strategy is going to be 2, 4, and probably back to 2 for that final stop. And folks, that final stop is going to be fun to watch, not only coming on, but coming off of pit road. It's going to be a land rush.
It's just going to get more interesting. It's been interesting all day with this, but we knew as we got closer to the end that the strategies were going to start to play out. And for anybody that was wondering, I might be giving Mike Ford's secrets away here as to what he might do. Trust me, these other guys on pit road are a lot smarter than I am. They figured this out long before that. But I think it is an interesting strategy if that is what plays out. I could be totally wrong, but whenever Denny was back there, it looked like he was struggling a little bit back in that traffic. Mike wanted to get him out front.
And we might see, remember you heard Rusty Wallace say he thinks Carl Edwards is very good, and I agree with him. Carl's getting better and better and stronger and stronger. I want to see if Carl can stay with Jimmy Johnson. And by the way, you J.J. Yaley fans, former local open-wheel racer, JJ's pit strategy got him all the way to 8th position. We'll see if the 96 car can hang on there in the top 10.
Yeah, it'd be a great day for him if he can hang around up there. And, before we talked about Carl Edwards, he's been starting back behind Jimmy Johnson pretty far. Now he's on Jimmy Johnson's bumper. So, Andy, it'll be interesting to see just how much he does have for him.
Yeah, no, also, how about Dale Earnhardt Jr.? He's all the way up to 11th now, and that's as far as he's been up in this running on a restart. He might be able to make a run at these guys.
Can Hamlin hold him off with 2 tires? You got to believe Jimmy Johnson and cousin Carl are going to get a little racy here when they wave the green flag.
Down what looks like pretty slow and a long way. This is the furthest down we've been. We'll see these guys back in the back get a little bit antsy and try to get going. They have to wait till they cross that start-finish line before they can go anywhere, but once they got there, they started fanning out. We see A.J. Allmendinger to the inside of J.J. Yeley.
Yeah, Allmendinger didn't waste any time trying to make the pass. That was for 8th position. More movement in the back. That's Jamie McMurray going by Yaley. Dale Earnhardt Jr., the next candidate to go by, the 96 car. Here he comes on the inside.
You saw J.J. Yaley move to the inside. This is just what he didn't want to happen, is these guys to line up on the inside of him and freight training. Once you let one car go, it just opens the door.
Yeah, well, Denny Hamlin's held Jimmy Johnson off for about 3/4 of a lap, but I got a feeling as they come off turn 4 here, that may change.
Next competition, yellow, will be lap 138. That is 11 laps away. Let's see if you're right, DJ, if Jimmy Johnson makes that move, either going into 1 or coming into the short chute.
Yeah, Jimmy had a good run off turn 4 as we see Carl Edwards get to the back bumper of Jimmy Johnson. He really hasn't had anybody on that back bumper all day, so we'll see if that changes the handling of his car.
And here Burton's trying the inside of Carl Edwards. How about Denny Hamlin? His car looks really strong right here. I think this is the best he's been all day.
Yeah, we talked about him earlier working his way up through and getting up towards the front and coming from 23rd spot. You know, they really didn't use strategies at that point to drive their way up there. So now he's showing just how good a race car he does have.
Mike, you got more on Denny Hamlin?
Yeah, and the only thing he said all day is that the car's been a little bit loose. They've been tightening him up. But his crew chief, Mike Ford, we've mentioned his win with Bill Elliott back in 2002. Well, that's not his only victory here, DJ, as you know. He went to victory lane twice with you. He was on your team as your jack man. Mike Ford told me this morning this race means more to him than any other. That's why what happened in 2007 sticks with him. A year ago, Denny Hamlin got a speeding penalty, then had to fight his way back up to the field, was running with the leaders, and then ran out of fuel, had to settle for a 22nd place finish. That is stuck with Mike Ford. He remembers, and it's motivating him this afternoon.
Yeah, we see Mike on top of the pit box there, and he was a part of that. And he knows, before he became a crew chief, how much effort that Todd Parrott and everyone at Robert Yates Racing put into this race. And he does that same kind of effort. He knows how much fun it is to visit that victory lane and kiss those bricks. And we almost pulled it off again a couple of years ago as we finished second to Jeff Gordon here.
This is the best challenge we've seen on for Jimmy Johnson right now is Denny Hamlin. This is the hardest that Jimmy's had to work to try to get by him. He's not able to get up to him.
Yeah, a number of guys have gotten out here in the lead with 2 tires, but they haven't been able to take that throughout a whole run. So it'll be interesting to see as we get some more laps on the tires if indeed he's going to be able to stay out there.
You saw Jimmy get sideways. That's the first time we've seen him have to really get up on the wheel.
Yeah, it looks like he's pulled. Maybe he's got a little bit of tightness behind that car, so he was trying to get down to the bottom a little bit more. That gets him down on those concrete strips, and then that'll get the car loose.
NASCAR has told the teams now they have 2 sets. They've polled the teams. They have 2 sets of sticker tires to manage between now and the checkered flag. 30 laps. Okay, 30 laps from now. Okay, crew chief, what do you do with your 2 sets?
Well, I mean, it's pretty simple. You just got to put them on when the caution comes out, and hopefully you don't have to put them on before that. But they're going to have enough tires to get to the end. We just predicted they have to make 2 more pit stops. They've got 2 more sets of tires. So that should take them to the end of the race.
What about 2 on that final stop?
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys are going to take 2. You just see it. I mean, this 11 car is doing great out front. I still think you're going to see Jimmy Johnson, Carl Edwards, and Jeff Gordon take 4 tires.
That's going to be the interesting thing here because Chad Canals, he's pretty sharp, and he may be saving that till the end of the day to where he says, okay, guys, y'all been doing this all day. I'm going to pull it on you right here.
Well, here's the problem with doing that at the very end of the race. You don't know what it's going to do to your car. He's had 4 tires on it all day long. They put 2 on the very end, and it goes to, it could go off one way or the other.
Well, I like my chances with a good handling race car to try 2 tires on that thing and take my chance on what it may do. If it wasn't handling good, that'd be a different situation.
And it's also a trust factor. I got to believe last year, how many times do we hear Chad Canal say, buddy, I'm going to give you 2, and Jimmy said, don't worry, I'm going to drive the wheels off this thing, and I got to believe if that happens, Jimmy will try to drive it and get this thing to victory lane.
But right now, if I'm Chad, I'm looking at this. We've been able to get that track position so easily with 4 tires, but this time's a little different. He might be having to consider that strategy just to get this track position.
Getting him, trying to get him glued up in the lug nuts there. Remember, the competition yellow will be lap 138, which is just 6 laps away.
Yeah, that glue's not going to have a lot of time to dry. This could be an issue for these teams when they go to put these tires on because that glue needs to dry a little bit or they'll lose those lug nuts on pit stops and cost them a ton of time.
What Denny Hamlin is doing here is very impressive, and I think that it has upset the balance of Jimmy Johnson's race car. He hasn't really had to deal with this. He's been able to pretty much all day make these passes easily, get himself back out in that clean air, but right now I believe he might be fighting an aero deal to where his car is much tighter.
Jimmy Johnson in 2nd spot, Carl Edwards in 3rd, Jeff Gordon, Kyle Busch, Jeff Burton.
Dale, what's that snake? You see that snake, how those cars do that? Why do they do that?
Well, these guys are trying to break away from the draft just a little bit, not get that guy behind him a run to where he can make that pass. So everybody, it's a domino effect kind of in a sense that they just move down. Everybody wants to get as much of that draft as they can, so they just move down and then back out to the wall to set themselves up for the corner.
It's kind of funny because this is the only racetrack you see that these guys will make that little snake move down the straightaway.
We're watching Elliott Sadler there, and Elliott's been up in the top 5 most of the day, and certainly the top 10. He's back in 14th spot right now. I think that they had a little bit of a miscue on their last pit stop and got him out a little bit behind, and he's trying to make up some ground now as we see the 16 car of Greg Biffle going underneath Martin Truex.
That is for position. That would be for the 16th spot. Biffle in 16, Truex back to 17th. Casey King right in front of this battle between them and Elliott Sadler. More on Greg Biffle from Dave.
And, Doc, his car was so loose during the last run that he restarted 5th and fell back to 18th. Then on pit road, he lost 6 more positions to cars that took 2 tires instead of his 4. So he restarted 24th and has made up all those spots since the restart. Good race car, just except for that last run today.
It's awful late in the race to be having problems and trying to make up that many spots, but Greg Biffle is a wheel man. If anybody can do it, he can.
Bobby Labonte, remember the 43 car, driving for Richard Petty. was running in the top 9. In fact, was ninth position when he came on the pit road. Remember, had that speeding penalty on pit road. Had gone all the way back to 35th position. Has now driven up to the top 20 again in 18th spot.
You see Reed Sorensen there. He was our pole sitter last year, and right now he's kind of carrying the flag for Ganassi Racing. He's got himself up in 19th spot. Right behind him is Sam Hornish, who is an Indy 500 winner. Has had an interesting week and day. He had some tire problems early on that got him a lap down. He was able to get that back and now has himself running in 20th spot.
Yeah, he's been the lucky dog twice today, so he's gotten back 2 laps, 2 different times. Here goes Bobby Labonte trying to get it around Martin Truex.
That is 4th position, and how valuable is it for Hornish to be able to go by? Remember, to get back in the top 35 in the point standings.
Yeah, he was just outside the top 35 coming into this race, and where they're running right now, if he can finish here or higher, he'll move back up into the top 35.
Yeah, he's 34th right now, some 38 points ahead of the 66 car.
Pit road is closed that time by.
As we approach our next competition, yellow, NASCAR's been closing this so guys can't pull some type of strategy of getting on here and getting 2 tires and taking advantage of these situations.
Every segment we see, they get a little bit racier and a little bit racier. It's going to get very interesting here now with just 2 more stops. This one coming up and 1 more.
How about Denny Hamlin? He's pulled a good little distance on Jimmy Johnson. And here comes Jeff Gordon, Kyle Busch.
Yeah, but Denny Hamlin's still setting the pace. He's the fastest car. Carl Edwards is pretty close to him in time-wise, but he's opened up over a second lead right now. And I have to say, this is very impressive. And if they do the strategy like we were talking with 4 tires this next time and then 2, it'll be interesting to see. Mike Ford might opt for 2 tires for the next 2 stops just to make sure he's got his guy out front.
He's sure working good for him right now. We've got about 3 more laps until that competition yellow.
We haven't heard anybody say any problems or anything about the left side tire. All we've ever looked at are the right side tires. So this is going to become a very interesting strategy as we see Carl Edwards going below Jimmy Johnson to try to take over that second spot.
Jimmy's got a little problem here on this run. I don't know if this set of tires doesn't agree with his car, but we haven't seen him run this bad all day.
Carl Edwards just clicked his radio to his tube, and he said, this is as far as Jimmy can go. He's losing that right rear. Jimmy radioed in that his car was very tight in traffic, so 2 possibilities there on the 48.
Yellow flag waving, Dave. This is another one of the competition yellows. Denny Hamlin will come down as a leader and slow him down. They get in behind the pace car for what should be the next to the last pit stop of the afternoon with 23 laps to go. All about precision here on these stops. So let's check in with Tim Brewer.
Thanks, Jerry. Andy, look at this. This is that old Norton glue that we used to use to glue the lug nuts on, and that stuff works pretty well when you got ample time for it to dry. But anytime you hadn't, we've got these double adhesive rings, and what we do, we simply peel the adhesive off, put them in place. That kind of assures you that the lug nut's not going to fall off, because you know, Andy, if a lug nut falls off right now, it's going to cost you time. You're going to be in trouble.
That's a neat little deal there, Tim. I've used them before, and they don't work as good as glued lug nuts. They'll work in a pinch, but I'd rather have my lug nuts glued on there and have that glue set up just right. These guys are going to have some crucial pit stops coming up. This one and the next one are going to be all money stop.
See them there tied to the back of the glove. You could cost your team the race, and they know it.
Well, this is what they get paid for. You see them sitting there ready and waiting to go, and they understand the importance of this. And this is whenever you hope that you've hired the right guys, the guys that that are really looking forward to that car coming down here right now, because they can help you win the race.
Top 4 in the race right now are the top 4 in the final practice. That's exactly where they practice and exactly where they're running here with 22 laps to go. Shannon?
Well, Doc, after that last pit stop, Jeff Burton said, I don't know what happened. We're just not any good anymore. They are going to take 2 tires on this pit stop. He's just a little loose, just trying to hold on. Guys?
Denny Hamlin and Mike Ford discussing what they want to do. Mike Ford elects to go with just right sides. He wants to keep him out front, guys.
8th stop of the day for David Reagan. They're going to take 4 tires this time. He said it was actually turning pretty good. It just didn't get up like it has been all day. Dave?
Bottom of your screen, Carl Edwards wants 4. The car barely tight. 3rd of a round of wedge in the left side, the right rear.
How about that board there? Elliott Sadler up 8 spots. God, there's some gambling going on down there. Some gamblers on pit road. Tony Stewart up 7. Allmendinger.
This is going to change things up quite a bit because we've not seen Jimmy Johnson back that far all day long.
And Carl Edwards gets 4 tires, back 8 spots. Can Carl get back there? Can Jimmy Johnson get back there? Back with the green in a moment. 20 laps to go in the All-State 400 at the Brickyard. And, folks, the money stop is coming up. And here's the money we're talking about. Today's purse, over $9.6 million. The champion last year of this race won over $488,000, and it paid $145,000 just to start the race, folks. That's the pressure that these crews are going to be facing and the drivers are going to be facing here with 20 laps to go.
Yeah, that's all great, but you give me that trophy. That's what I'm after, that Brickyard trophy.
Green flag. Denny Hamlin, 2 tires again. Behind him, Jeff Burton with 2 tires. Here come the 4-tire boys. Jimmy Johnson is back there. Carl Edwards. Jeff Gordon got 4. So did Kyle Busch.
Well, we've been told that 150 is going to be the next caution, so that's they've got 9 laps to get to that point. And then I'm quite certain that we're going to see everybody get 2 tires. We see Jimmy Johnson pull out the inside of Casey Kane trying to take away that spot. He wants to get as far forward here, Andy, as he possibly can before this next caution.
He's got to be very aggressive right here taking these spots. He's got to take him when he gets to them. He doesn't have time to mess around now. He's got to get to the front.
And you know that you've run 12 to 13 laps on these tires, so you should be able to make all the way down across the racetrack in front of Carl Edwards, Jimmy Johnson.
When I said be aggressive, that's what you got to do right there.
That was part saving and part blocking right there. He was just trying to hold his car, and that's where it was driving, and Carl was right on his bumper. As we see now, Carl trying to take away that spot.
That was a sock, a save and a block altogether.
That's a very key block there, because if Carl Edwards gets in front of him right here, Jimmy Johnson, it's going to be real tough for Jimmy to win this race.
Yeah, not only that, but if Carl Edwards pulls to the inside of him, he's not going to pass Casey Kane either, so that just puts him back further. That was a very key moment right now.
Setting his sights on Tony Stewart. That's the car right in front of Jimmy Johnson. Stewart being shown in 6th spot.
Stewart's lost a couple of spots. He was 4th on the restart. He's lost a couple of spots. He's done well to get up there, but he can't stay there.
Yeah, Tony's car is just not to his liking here. We heard him talk about fighting loose, and I think they're still fighting that. And every time they put 2 on, it gets them the track positions, but he's not able to hold that.
Johnson thinking about making the move down the long straightaway. Stewart having a tough time hugging the bottom. Does manage to get his Toyota to hug the bottom right there coming up. But here comes Carl Edwards back.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson got real loose in the short chute. He was able to bring that car back and still get under Tony Stewart.
Yeah, he's driving that car hard right now because it's not as good as he wants to be in traffic. I think Carl Edwards, his car's a lot better in traffic. And we see just behind this, Jeff Gordon trying to make his move to get up here.
Well, Gordon just sailing by Casey Kane for position. You called it, Andy. These guys are being as aggressive as we have seen them all day long, trying to help their pit crews on this final stop.
You know why they're being so aggressive? This right here. 17 laps to go. It's time to go, boys.
Well, McMurray all the way down. He leads the conga line on the inside of the track past Tony Stewart. Dave.
Just want to confirm what was going on with Tony. That was a 2-tire stop. They made an air pressure adjustment also, and that was because the last run his car was very, very loose, but that track position made up with strategy by the 20.
16 laps to go. Folks, Jeff Gordon restarted in the 14th position, and he is all the way up to 9th. These guys are clicking them off one by one. Here comes Gordon again. And he can't get it done. Dale Earnhardt Jr., by the way, behind this group, beginning to move in a little bit.
Yeah, Junior made up a lot of spots there after he got his lap back, but now he's found the going a lot tougher as he's tried to make his way into this top 10. He's sitting 14th right now, and the spots from here on are going to be a lot tougher to get.
Up front, Denny Hamlin is the leader. Jeff Burton in 2nd position, the 31 car. Elliott Sadler, great run for Elliott Sadler today in the Gillette Evernham Dodge. A.J. Allmendinger, how impressive has he been? He's in 4th place in the Toyota. Ryan Newman back in 5th. More on Elliott Sadler. Let's go down to Jamie.
Well, Doc, it was all about track position that last stop. They only took 2 tires, right sides only for Elliott Sadler. Right now he's tied for the best finish he's ever had here in Indy. He said he still has unfinished business here, looking for his first win, guys, here at the Brickyard. Car is great. It's all about track position, and he's got the car to get her done.
Who is it that says get her done? That's what Elliott Sadler is doing right now.
Here comes Jimmy. Coming underneath Ryan Newman.
I think Carl actually thought for a second, even though he was trying to get that draft, I think he might have thought for a second that he might could push the 12 up there and maybe trap Jimmy Johnson down there on the inside. He's desperately wanting by this 48. He knows that's going to be important to get by him at some point in time here if he's going to have a chance to win this race.
Well, while they're doing this, Denny Hamlin is getting gone out front. He's going to be tough to beat. These guys got to get on with it.
So I look at the times, though. Elliott Sadler is actually the fastest car up in that group right now. So he does have a good race car. He's run down Jeff Burton for second spot. If he can get himself in a position, we know they're only going to get 2 tires this last stop that give him a good shot at winning his first Brickyard 400.
He's in the right position. He's in that top 3. If they can pull off a good pit stop this last caution, and if he can get by Jeff Burton right here, that would enhance his chances right here. Here he goes.
But here's the problem. Jeff Burton wants to win it, too. He's not going to let anybody by, although Elliott Sadler is very good. Burton pulls him on the straightaway and holds the position.
You see Elliott, too, the left side tire down below the white line, trying to get a good run there, and he was able to make that pass on Jeff Burton before as they entered turn 2. So he really had a good run off of turn 1. Shows how good his car is handling.
His car looks perfect right now, and this is the right time to have it good. He doesn't look like he's having to work the steering wheel near as much as some of these other guys.
Couple of racers from Virginia. Elliott Sadler from Emporia. Jeff Burton grew up in South Boston, Virginia. Pit road is now officially closed until the competition yellow with 10 laps to go.
Well, where I see Elliott's car really good, he's rolling through the center, but he's able to get back to the gas and really utilizing these long straightaways. His car is really strong right now.
Here comes Jimmy Johnson. He's looking inside. Uh-oh, we got a little problem on the grill of the 11 car, some debris.
Got a beverage can. Looked like it's stuck in the grill there, a part of a beverage can or something stuck in the grill.
Oh, he'll be okay. Yeah. He's only got 12 laps to go. They'll knock it off on this caution.
Maybe it's a Diet Coke and it's not taking up much room or something like that. How about
Yeah, guess again, DJ.
Yeah, wrong beverage.
99, Carl Edwards hustling by Allmendinger for position. Now takes the 5th spot away. 2 laps away from the competition yellow. Crew chiefs talking to these guys on pit road saying you got to get it done. Here is Ryan Newman and Jeff Gordon for position.
Jeff Gordon doing it the hard way around the outside.
Well, we know all day the story has been tires and track position, but we're going to get down here inside of 10 laps to go, and then it's going to be about the driver and the machine and who wants this the most.
It's going to get push and shove this last 10 laps. Dave?
Casey Kane working his way back into the top 10 in that 9 car. Top of your picture there. They've had a rough day. That header has been cracked all day. They were unable to get it repaired in any way, and then they got their lap back and have been working toward the front ever since. A good recovery for this team who had a bleak early run.
That is a great recovery for this 9 car. There's not much you can do when you got a cracked header. You just got to ride it out. Here goes Jimmy Johnson now around Jeff.
Caution's out. Good job.
Well, that caution came out right as he was passing Jeff Burton. I wonder if he had that position before the lights came off.
That would have been 3rd spot behind Hamlin and Sadler. NASCAR says a 31 goes back in front
of the 99 car.
Of the 99, but the 48 gets in front of both of them.
Yeah, I think Jimmy's good.
2 tire stops. Crew members have been working all day. Pit stop after pit stop. How tired can they be? But they also know this is why they get paid, and this is what it's all about. The money stop.
They got to suck it up right here because this is a huge race. This is the last stop, and it's all on their shoulders right here.
You know, Andy, there's pressure on these guys right now, and pretty much everybody out there except for Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson knows what 2 tires done to their car. You brought this point up earlier. They really don't know how this is going to affect their race car. They see these other guys be okay, but they're only guessing that their car is going to be okay.
They don't have a choice now. Early in the race, they had the lead. They could come in and get 4 tires, only lose a couple spots. They don't have the lead right now. They got no choice. They have to take 2 tires.
Denny Hamlin would like to become the 10th different winner of the All-State 400 at the Brickyard. There's the beverage can, and it's,
there it goes.
It's now away. Now it becomes debris. Final stop, $9.6 million purse. One of the biggest events of the year, and a race that every driver wants to win.
How's your heart rate right now, Andy, when you're changing tires?
It's big time, Dale. I can tell you that for sure, because in 95, when we won this race, we won it on a pit stop. It was a green flag pit stop in 95, and we did not have the lead. We got the lead off pit road, past Rusty Wallace in the pits under green.
This stop could win or lose it all. Here they come for the final time at 55 miles an hour. Let's go down to Shannon.
Well, Doc, Richard Childers, team owner of the 31, came over the radio and said, let's do 2 and go for it. So that's what this team is going to do. They're just saying the car is a little bit loose, but this shootout is exactly what they wanted. Mike.
Denny Hamlin's last 2 pit stops have only taken right side tires, about 30 laps on the left side, but they'll go with just right sides once again in a wedge adjustment. Jamie?
Oh, yeah, Sadler, great car, right sides, only looking for his first win in 4 years. Dave?
Jimmy Johnson said the car was racier. They're going to give him half the tires of last time, 2 only. He's off pit road.
Anybody got him?
Look at the high-fiving down in the Jimmy Johnson pits.
Guys, nice call.
And Johnson gains a couple of spots. Edwards up 3, Hamlin back 2. Allmendinger losing 4, but what a pit stop when the money was on the line. The champions rose to the top.
Okay, the shootout's over on pit road, guys, but we still have a big-time shootout coming up here on the racetrack.
How about the 11 car getting a tire? Now watch the right front tire coming off.
Okay,
there comes Reed Sorensen in and tags the tire.
They've got to get this tire back to the pit wall before he can leave. That was a great job by this pit crew member to hold on to that tire. Great effort.
Nice catch there.
Yeah, what does that tire and wheel weigh?
A lot, like 60 pounds. That's a lot of weight and momentum right there. Hope it didn't hurt his hand.
Yeah, crew member trying to address the tire. Watch him try to catch it. He wanted to keep the tire from bouncing off the pit wall and back across onto pit road or in front of the car.
That's exactly right, because they would have probably had to bring the 11 car back in if they don't control that tire, although we did see the 41 car hit the tire.
Yeah, and it looked like that Denny Hamlin might have waited just a split second because he saw all of that going on, and that could have cost him just a little bit of time. Regardless, Jimmy Johnson and his guys made a great pit stop. They rose to the occasion right there and got their man out front.
Jimmy Johnson came on pit road after not having a very good stint, but these guys got it done. Watch the reaction here.
See how calm they are till right now. It's like, hey, guys, whoa, way to go.
You know, Andy, I'm not going to take away because I know you're a crew guy and they do a terrific job, and obviously that was an exceptional pit stop. But Jimmy Johnson had to do his job all the way down pit road of pushing the limit as far as what that pit road speed was. He had to get there as quickly as he possibly could, and they all did a fantastic job.
And you were wondering when we're going to find out what Carl Edwards has for Jimmy Johnson. I think we're just about ready to do that right now.
Now you see why it was so important for Jimmy Johnson to hold off Carl Edwards on that last run, because he needs this track position. Carl Edwards got a fast car. And he's not afraid to use it either.
Yeah, we haven't been able to talk about the racing and passing and all of that too much to this point, but these last 7 laps, we're going to see what these guys have.
People talk about points and championships. Right now, these guys are focused on one thing.
That's exactly right. Going to this victory lane that's right over here and then kissing the bricks when this is over. This is what it's all about. This is what these guys live for. They want to be in this position.
What are you doing right now, Dale? Are you sitting up in the seat just a little more? Are you pulling those belts tight, taking a drink of water? What are you doing?
Yeah, I've loosened those belts so I could sit up in that seat, and now I've pulled them back tight. I'm ready to go. This is exactly what you want. You want to be put in this situation. As a driver and an athlete, these are the kind of moments that you relish. Dave?
With Chad Knaus now. Chad, your driver described the car as racier that run, and then you only gave him 2 tires. I got to think that's the race-winning strategy that you believe in.
Well, we'll see. I mean, the 99 took 2 tires, and the 11, he's still on his 2 tires. So I think the 48 and the 99 right now should have the advantage with fresher left side tires compared to the 11 cars. So We'll see. The Lowe Chevrolets were running great all day. The guys have had great pit stops. Jimmy's done a phenomenal job. We lost it a little bit there the last two runs ago. Car just wasn't quite right. It's definitely a lot better now. So we'll just had to see how it reacts on 2 tires in a 7-lap shootout.
The pit crew definitely picked it up, Jamie.
Rodney Childers never been in this position to go for his first win here. Rodney, 8 to go. What can you guys do to get this victory?
The Stanley Tools Dodge has been great all day. We've been, just conserving tires. The car was really good that last run. Didn't make any changes. Lost just a little bit there, but I think we got the best car. So we'll try for it, see what we got.
All right, this team feels like they still have unfinished business. Let's see if they can get it done, Doc.
How about parity at the top of the field there? Chevy, Ford, Toyota, Dodge. That's the front 4 cars here at Indianapolis with 8 laps to go.
Yeah, and this is an important restart, but don't count Denny Hamlin and Elliott Sadler out of this. If Carl Edwards can get on the inside of Jimmy Johnson, they may be able to make it 3 wide and go by both of them.
3 wide. They're trying to block and try to be able to hold position. Patrick Carpentier blocked by the 41 of Sorensen. Jimmy Johnson trying to hold the bottom of the racetrack.
Carl Edwards is all over Jimmy Johnson right here. He's not going to let him get out there 1 inch if he can help it.
Johnson comes all the way down to the inside.
Like you said, Dale, he's trying to break that draft. Looks like it gained him a car length.
He's going to need all of that. Carl Edwards, again, has a fast car. He hasn't been the fastest right as on the restart with the new tires, but it only takes about 1.5 laps, and then he seems to really start coming.
Jimmy Johnson, by making that move, actually pulled away about 3 car lengths now from Carl Edwards.
Well, he's been the fastest car all weekend, and there's no reason to think that he's not going to be that here, other than the fact that he hasn't had on 2 tires and didn't know what was going to happen there. 6 laps to go.
This is going to be the toughest 6 laps Jimmy Johnson has run all weekend. He cannot miss a mark. He has to hit every mark perfect, or Carl Edwards is going to pounce.
Got to believe he has not driven the car this hard at all.
Just you and him. Clear by 4. Your exit of 1 was awesome there.
Now you see the conga line, the wiggle down in the middle and back up to be able to break the draft off the cars behind you.
All got a little bit wide there trying to get back to the gas early in turn 3, and that cost him a little bit of time. You can see Jimmy stretched it out about 2-3 more car lengths than what he had, and that's all that it takes is to get you that little bit of extra time that you need and a little bit of distance as far as Jimmy Johnson is concerned.
We were able to see Carl Edwards run a lot closer to Jimmy Johnson when they were in traffic. Jimmy Johnson now has that clean air on the nose, and it's really helped that 48.
5 laps to go, and Carl wiggles a little bit, getting into the throttle, coming up off the corner. Johnson, Edwards, Hamlin, and back in 3rd, Sadler, McMurray. Good run for Jamie McMurray, Jeff Gordon, and Jeff Burton, 6th and 7th.
Now, Andy, we've talked all week about it taking a team effort to win this race. You got to have a great race car, good engine. The crew has to do their job, and everybody's done their job. They put it in their driver's hands right now.
There are 36 cars on the lead lap. Travis Quapple, the last car on the lead lap. Less than 5 to go. Jimmy Johnson trying to win his 2nd All-State 400 at the Brickyard.
Dale, how hard is it to hit your marks when you look in that mirror and you see a challenger like Carl Edwards every single time you look up?
4 laps.
Yeah, you really want to try not to look in that mirror any more than you have to, but it's instinctive to do it every time you come off a corner to see exactly how you got through that. Did you gain anything? Did he make a little bit of a mistake? Where can you beat him? Where are you gaining? And where is he gaining on you? So as a driver, you're trying to hit those marks as fast as you possibly can, but you're also keeping an eye on that guy.
And now Carl actually pulled down with Jimmy Johnson to try to stay in the draft rather than staying up in the outside groove when Jimmy pulled across the racetrack.
Just like you said, Dale, the last lap, Carl Edwards beat Jimmy Johnson by about 1.5 tenths.
But as he gets close to him, you wonder how much aero effect and the push that he's going to get. Is it going to affect him in trying to make that pass? We go back to A.J. Allmendinger, who's had a great day here. Dale Jr., who still sits just outside the top 10. I know he'd like to get that one spot to get himself into the top 10.
This is 10th and 11th. It would be A.J. Allmendinger's best career finish. He finished 12th at Pocono. Earnhardt Jr. trying to get in the top 10 by making the pass on Allmendinger with 3 laps to go. Up front, Jimmy Johnson leading Carl Edwards by now 3 car lengths as Carl is moving in a little bit. Hamlin back in 3rd. 16 and the 9, Casey Kane, Greg Biffle battling for position. Jeff Burton as they falls in back behind them. at 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Yeah, Burton's car just hadn't been quite as good the last couple of runs. It doesn't seem that Two Tires has agreed with his car, and we see Greg Biffle making his way up there. You know, we chronicled what the problems were that he went through and how his car got really loose one time. They've really fixed that car and got him back in the top 10 now.
Mark Martin all the way down across the bottom of the racetrack to be able to make the pass. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car got very loose in the corner. Martin took that spot away.
But it certainly hasn't been the day that Mark thought he was going to have with this race car and race team. As we see Jimmy Johnson really using up all the racetrack, just driving this race car for everything it's worth.
Last time by, they were almost equal on lap times.
And as you said, DJ, the longer they run in previous runs, the better Carl Edwards' car gets.
And the problem is that as Carl closes in here just a little bit, as he gets closer, then Jimmy has to make sure that he hits his mark, because one slip can cost him the race then.
He's only got a lap and a half to hold him off, because they're going to get the white flag this time by.
Jimmy Johnson's got 4 more corners to hit right here.
4 left turns away from the lion's share of a $9.6 million purse.
Well, he was about perfect with that corner right there.
So was Carl Edwards.
Johnson looked like he got through that corner and off of that corner really well, not to let Carl get a good run on him down the backstretch.
That was real critical, because this long straightaway right here could decide it.
4 hours ago, over 250,000 fans asked themselves, who will it be? Who will win the Allstate 400 in 2008? They all had different answers.
Another perfect corner. Jimmy Johnson did a great job there. His crew, congratulations. Just a fantastic job.
Out of turn 4 and 2-time NASCAR Sprint Cup champion, Jimmy Johnson becomes a 2-time winner at the Brickyard. Edwards, Hamlin, Sadler.
Jeff Gordon worked his way back into the top 5. A.J. Allmendinger with a 10th place finish. Great run for him.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. finishes 12th.
Man, that's all there is to it. Thank you, boys.
What a great team effort by this Lowe's team.
Think maybe they've hit their stride getting ready for this chase.
You guys talked about it. You said that Jimmy Johnson is a second-half driver. We saw it a year ago, and we're seeing it here today. There's his teammate, Jeff Gordon, riding up alongside to congratulate Jimmy as a 2-time winner here at Indianapolis. Let's go down to Mike.
And the winning crew chief, Chad Knaus, how would you describe this day?
It was a pretty crazy day. It really was. You know, the thing I was concerned about was that as we were going there, the NASCAR would say, okay, you guys can go ahead and race the final 30 laps after we'd had so many competition cautions, you know, and they did the right thing by having us come down and do what we needed to do to get the tires on the car so nobody had any problems or got hurt. But, you know, this team just has worked so hard to get our program turned around, and I really feel like we've come into our own over the course of the last 10, 12 weeks and just haven't gotten the breaks that we needed. And, you know, fortunately enough, today it all came together, you know, to win the pole here and to win the race. That's pretty nice.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Jimmy Johnson, Chad Knaus, and the 48 team become just the 2nd team to win from the pole here in the Brickyard.
Kevin Harvick did it back in 2003, Mike, and now Jimmy Johnson, he wins the pole, he wins practice and happy hour, and most importantly, he wins the 15th running of the All-State 400 at the Brickyard. When we come back, we'll visit with Jimmy in Victory Lane.
The Allstate 400 at the Brickyard is brought to you by Allstate. Are you in good hands? And by Subway. Win a chance to be in a Subway commercial with Jared. See stores for official rules. Subway. Eat fresh. Jimmy Johnson is won at Indianapolis today. Let's hear from some of the other top finishers. Jamie?
Carl Edwards finished 2nd, his first top 5 here at Indy. Carl, describe what it was like from a driver's perspective today.
That's a long day. I know everybody's trying to do their best, and I just personally just say to the fans, you know, everybody's doing their best to make that a race, and at least we got to run there at the end. I knew it was going to be Jimmy and I, and on the restart, 11, Denny Hamlin was hanging back a little bit, and I thought he was pretty fast. I thought I was faster than Jimmy, so I didn't really focus on, you know, ruining Jimmy's race, you know, getting up there under him in turn 1. I thought I'd be able to get him. I was more worried about the 11, and then when it strung out, Jimmy he was just fast. We were about the same, and just Man, it'd be cool to win here. The second place is not what we came here for, but just thanks to Aflac and everybody and the fans for putting up with this. It'll get better.
All right, Doc, gosh, tire debris all over these drivers, all over inside of their cars. It's unbelievable down here.
Frustration and exhaustion for Carl Edwards. Frustration over not winning the race and exhaustion over what a long day they've had. Well, this guy's going to really enjoy the moment. Jimmie Johnson, a two-time winner here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Let's go down to Dave Burns.
A very happy Jimmie Johnson now stepping out of the car. Second win here at the Brickyard, Jimmy. And with 2 tires on the last stop, knowing what you knew about tire wear, did you think that was the right call, track position?
I knew what we were setting up for. I was worried the stop before that maybe we had to go two laps to win this thing, but Chad called it perfectly. We had a great stop at the end, a great car. I mean, I just can't say enough for this race car all weekend long. Really was a pleasure to drive it, and it's because these guys have been working so hard. But big day for Lowe's, for Chevrolet. St. Paula was awesome. Hendrick Motorsports, their engine department, the whole company. We've been working really hard to get back, and we're getting there. This is a good sign of it.
And you knew Carl was there, didn't you?
I did. Carl put about as much pressure on me as he could. I knew from chasing Denny the run before that, even if the guy's a little faster, he's not going to get by. So I just made sure I hit my marks. I tried not to think about the fact that it was the Brickyard 400 and really just tried to stay focused on my marks, and we did it. So stoked for these guys.
All right, Jimmie Johnson, the reigning champion, is now champion of the Brickyard again.
And Elliott Sadler finishes 4th, his best of the year. Sum up today, Elliott. It looked like you could have had the car to take it at the end.
Yeah, we got close at the end. Just track position is so important here, but so proud of my Stanley Dodge today. It drove so good, brand new car. Thanks to everybody at Gillette here in Motorsports. Gave me a good car today, great motor. We needed this. Great race for us and Stanley today, and looking forward to a pretty optimistic year the rest of the season.
Great all around for the 19 team. Doc?
Thanks, Jamie. Point standings with 6 races to go in the race to the chase. And, guys, thoughts on impressive performances here today?
Congratulations to the pit crew of the 48 team. They put him out front when it counted.
Yeah, A.J. Allmendinger finishing 10th, did a great job. Obviously, Elliott Sadler there. And we see the 2 Richard Childress cars battling for that coveted 12th spot now.
Elliott Sadler, best finish of the year. Jamie McMurray, best finish of the year. And A.J. Allmendinger, as you said, his first top 10 finish of his career. Jimmie Johnson in victory lane for the 2nd time in his career at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And, Alan, those sports centers coming up next. We're going to have a hard time topping the effort here these crews and drivers put in this afternoon.
Yeah, tons more post-race coverage coming up on SportsCenter next here on ESPN, Doc. NASCAR now 10 o'clock Eastern tonight with a full race wrap-up ESPN2. Quick final thought?
Alan, Jimmie Johnson got the pole. He was the fastest car in practice, and the fastest car won this race.
Appropriate ending to this race. As Jimmie Johnson's doing his burnout, he blew a right rear tire.
That's for sure. There's the man who called the winning strategy, Chad Knaus. And that last pit stop did the trick for Jimmie Johnson as he is a winner today at Indianapolis. And next week, it's on to the Tricky Triangle for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Pocono Raceway, our coverage presented by Cheez-It. ESPN next Sunday, beginning with NASCAR Countdown at 1 Eastern Time. And again, up next, lots more post-race coverage from here at Indy on SportsCenter. And our NASCAR Now show tonight, 10 o'clock Eastern Time on ESPN2. So there'll be a lot of victory lane photos with all the hats, and then out for the traditional kissing of the bricks by Jimmie Johnson. Johnson outlasts what were difficult conditions to win at Indianapolis today. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. So long from Indy.